Sending that one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin! Welcome to the Tributes Community Center in Oshawa as we're ready for tonight's broadcast between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals. I'm your host, Mike Poirier, joined alongside Josh McCann. And Josh, this is the first trip for the Barrie Colts back to Oshawa since the 2025 OHL Eastern Conference Final, where those Generals ended up sweeping the Colts and presented the Bobby Orr Trophy here at Center Ice. And obviously, that's in the past and the team wanting to look at this season, but you kind of feel for some of the veterans on this Barrie Colts team that memory may be fresh in their minds.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a couple different memories of this building for some of those veteran Barrie Colts because, yeah, last season, obviously very difficult. You lose both the games here. You get swept by the Generals in the conference finals. But you look back 2 years ago, that was the series that kind of put the Barrie Colts on the map. Even though they went 0-3 at home, they came down here to Oshawa playing the best team in the Eastern Conference, and they took 2 of those 3 games, including a 54 save performance from Sam Hillebrand in game number 5 to keep the series alive. So I think there's a lot of emotions probably for some of these Barrie Colts when it comes to coming through this building, but not a lot of Generals players remain from those 2 teams. The Generals were a year ahead of the Barrie Colts in building their team. So similar to next year, where the Barrie Colts, a lot of their core will have moved on from those last 2 playoff runs. The Generals there without most of their core players from that run.
Yeah, the Oshawa Generals coming into this season, they knew that after back-to-back appearances at the OHL Championship, that this would be the rebuild season. They traded away Danford and Sandu in the first half of the regular season. Beckett Seneca, though, stays with the Anaheim Ducks. And I think for the Oshawa Generals, there was kind of that hope that Seneca would return to junior so that they could recoup assets by trading him at the OHL trade deadline. Obviously, that didn't happen, and it's great that Seneca is in the National Hockey League. But at the same time, Generals fans, I think, a little disappointed on missed assets.
Yeah, obviously, I think coming into the season, they were hoping they could get a ton for Beckett Seneca on top of Danford and Sandu, and then even Luca Morelli as well in the AHL with Columbus. They were kind of hoping right before the deadline that he may come back to the OHL, but Columbus decided to keep him up, so weren't able to get stuff for Morelli, weren't able to get anything for Beckett Seneca, and it'll be interesting to see how they shift gears. Luke Posthumous, an overager, he's a guy they decide to actually hold on to. Owen Griffin, they still have him for next season as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Generals build. When you look at the standings right now, it's a bad look for Oshawa. I mean, they're the 4th place Kingston Frontenacs in their division have double the points that they have, but this Generals team, they fight hard against top teams. They get up for these games. They played Kitchener and Peterborough hard already this week. They've beaten Brantford already this season. So Barrie Colts expect Oshawa to just be a pushover here tonight. They're going to be in for a rough look.
Well, for the Oshawa Generals right now, riding an 11-game losing streak. They're 11 points behind Sudbury and Brampton for that final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference standing. So when you look at the whole picture, and if you're coming at it from the Barrie Colts, this could be a bit of a trap game because the Colts, they're riding high, back-to-back wins, a big win last night on home ice, 4-1 over the Brampton Steelheads. Mind you, this is now 3 games in 3 nights. And, I'm sure for Dylan Smoskowitz and the coaching staff, wanting to make sure that the Barrie Colts don't overlook this Generals team.
Yeah, they can't. Obviously, every team in the OHL is going to give you a good look. And we figured last night Brampton would be a team that could step up to the Barrie Colts, playing 2 of their former players. And they've competed against the Colts pretty hard. The first 2 games, a 1-0 game, and then Brampton won the first one at the Sadlin Arena. But last night, the Colts, they get out to that strong start. And I think last night's game kind of perfectly describes how Dylan Smoskowitz has been saying he wants this team to play. You know, they come out firing, they get a few goals, and then once they get built that 3-1, 4-1 lead, it's not about making it 5, 6, 7, 8-1. He wants them to shut that game down, not give up many shots. And 11 shots through 40 minutes last night, 23 shots total for the Brampton Steelheads is something Dylan Smoskowitz was probably happy about.
And no change to the lineup yet again. Obviously, this team hasn't had a practice yet because Ben Wilmot, the last addition to arrive to join the team just before puck dropping Guelph, basically. So Dylan Smoskowitz keeping the lines together and already seeing some pretty decent chemistry. Cole Bodwin has scored goals in back-to-back games. You've got Ben Wilmot. He's scored now in back-to-back. And Jaden Newton He has been a man on a mission right now, riding a 3-game goal streak.
Yeah, Jaden Newton's been playing maybe the best hockey of his OHL career yet. He's a former second round pick and a guy that, every time you watch him, you feel like he still has that potential in him. And you're never really ever able to give up on Jaden Newton, especially with the way he's been playing as of late. Jonah McCormick's done a good job on that line as well. And Nicholas Desiderio has a 3-game assist streak as well. So that line coming together as of late has been really strong. The third line, I think, has been solid. William Schneid with Joe Salandra and Carter Lowe. They're still finding it a bit. Salandra's had some good looks. Schneid's had some good looks. And then I really liked how Carter Lowe last night kind of embracing the grinder role here in the second half. Some big hits. Went after a couple players, tried to fight with Carter Hicks, and then ended up fighting Reed Gee in the second period. And then after the fight, there was that review of Jaden Newton's goal, and Lowe's sitting in the penalty box saying, "Goal, goal, goal." It didn't work out in Lowe's favor, but yeah, I think he's had some solid games as of late as well.
Well, for Carter Lowe, too, his 200th game, like, that's the best way to celebrate. And we're hoping to get Carter Lowe on the broadcast when we're in Owen Sound next Sunday. But for this Barrie Colts team, getting ready to face the Oshawa Generals. And before the game, had a chance to catch up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. So we'll do our Coach's Corner here, presented by Mariposa School of Skating. Joined by Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. And Dylan, this is third game in 3 nights. Good 4-1 win at home yesterday against the Brampton Steelheads. How did you feel about that win yesterday?
You always got to feel good about a win. You got to feel good about a win when you limit teams to 125 shots and then 1 goal against. I thought our penalty kill was really strong. To take 3 minor penalties in the second period, and as a period as a whole, to only give up 3 shots in total was pretty impressive. So really happy with that. Just again, it's so early for these guys to be gelling and new guys in the lineup, players playing with different line mates, different D partners. There's a lot to like, though. The habits, I like the habits. I like the energy on the bench. I like the way the guys are interacting with each other. A lot of positive signs so far this weekend.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like these guys have been already playing for weeks, just with how the new guys have fit in. Bodwin scoring 13 seconds in after being at the World Juniors. Talk about his compete and just what he brings to this Colts team.
Well, his compete's off the charts. I mean, you can't even measure this guy's compete, and it's his calling card, it's his bread and butter. It's why he's had all the success he has, and why he will continue to have success at whatever he does. And it's contagious, and that's something that I'm so fortunate to have as a first-year coach. Is guys like him, guys like Cash, who are just contagious energies, contagious characters. People want to be like them. They want to raise their level, their standard, to match that of a Cole Bodwin or a Keishon Aitchison. It makes my job so easy. I just got to go hands off and just enjoy it. And
now you're playing an Oshawa Generals team that's been struggling of late, 11-game losing streak. How is it, try to keep the focus on today's game and not look too far ahead? Because obviously there's a big opponent with Flint on the horizon. This could be a bit of a trap game, I guess, if the guys don't tune in here.
It's something we talk about every day. So I hope that trap games aren't really a thing that we have to deal with, because we just focus one day at a time. And whether it's a practice, whether it's a workout, whether it's a game day, we are very focused on that day. So I don't even know if our guys know who we play on Thursday. I don't even know if they know we have a game on Thursday. They are just focused on today.
So I guess that's where the win every day mentality has been helping you guys out. Because you talked about that, I think, back in the fall. Win each day, especially when you guys had that road trip.
And that's what it's all about, and that's really all you can hope to do. And what you all can also hope for is that your opponents are looking ahead. Maybe someone's looking ahead of Barrie, maybe someone's looking ahead and not winning that day. Because if we can be better than our opponent on that specific day, even if it's not a game day, we give ourselves a better chance come game day. And it's a pretty similar lineup to last night. Hrebeck getting the starts. Talk about the confidence he brings to your group, because he's just been something else, and I almost feel like he's kind of underrated at times with the rest of the OHL. Totally underrated. I don't understand how NHL teams pass up on this guy. I don't understand. I mean, he's won the goalie of the month twice in a row, so teams or the league at least is recognizing his efforts. But it's a well-kept secret, and I don't mind it that way, because a lot of teams are just underestimating him, and at the end of the night they're kind of scratching their heads going, how do we not win that game? Well, I'll tell you how Ben Hrebeck was in net for the Barrie Colts, so it's a real luxury to have him. So that was our Coach's Corner, presented by Mariposa School of Skating. And I like how Dylan Smoskowitz talks about Ben Hrebeck, his goaltender, saying he's totally underrated in the Ontario Hockey League. And he prefers that because it's his best-kept secret, and Barrie Colt fans well aware of that best-kept secret. Yeah, it's shocking to see Ben Hrebeck be underrated in the OHL. I mean, the OHL's starting to recognize him with those back-to-back goaltender of the months for the OHL awards, but
Yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of conversations about the best goalies in the OHL, and Ben Horebeck, who could arguably say he's the best goaltender in the OHL, is never really a part of those conversations. I remember back in December they did a World Junior, um,
Well,
just
talk about the
OHL,
lineups.
yeah,
Yeah.
World Juniors just for OHL players alone. For Team Canada, and Ben Horebeck wasn't even mentioned in the goaltending conversation. And there were definitely guys that Ben Horebeck should have been there over. And like Dylan Smosquith said, keep him underrated and let some teams think that the Barrie Colts don't have one of the better goaltenders in the OHL.
And we've talked to Ben Horebeck in the past, such a calm and humble guy, so he's not even going to toot his own horn.
Well, when you try and ask him about himself, it's great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically it. But we are just about 4 minutes away from the start of this hockey game. They are going to be doing a tribute beforehand for David Branch. So when that starts, we don't want to talk through the moment of silence. So we will take our break and then come back for puck drop. But just a reminder, the chat is now live, and we'll be going to the chat in the first and second intermissions. But I am seeing already that Silly Boy Blah is saying go Colts, even though he's from Niagara. So we've got Niagara region folk cheering for the Barrie Colts right now.
Well, it's because of Oshawa.
That's got to be it.
It's because of them. I mean,
But also, Richard, I know you fear predictions, but are we confident the Colts can dethrone Ottawa for first place? And the Ottawa 67 snapping that 3-game losing streak this afternoon, a win in Sudbury. So they're now 7 points back. So the Colts slowly closing that gap right now in both Ottawa and Brantford. And after those additions at the trade deadline, I'm kind of wondering if there's a possibility that the Colts could maybe get up there.
I'm not going to go all out and predict that they're going to do it, but they definitely do have a shot. Brantford right now is up 4-2 on Windsor after the second period, so it looks like they'll go 7 points up on the Colts, and then obviously Barrie will have an opportunity tonight to get it back down to 5 against both teams. But I think looking at the way the Barrie Colts have played over the last couple months, they're at an 804 win percentage since November 1st. So yeah, I mean, if the Barrie Colts keep playing the way they have, they're one of the best teams in the OHL, and they can definitely contend in the Eastern Conference. They pretty easily beat Ottawa down in Ottawa the last time those two teams faced off. I don't think Ottawa had their best showing that night. And then for Brantford, the only time we've seen Barrie and Brantford play, it was the Colts winning 5-4 in overtime. So I think for the Barrie Colts, they can definitely contend in the OHL. And I think when it comes to the playoffs as well against those teams, Barrie Colts are going to be a hard team to play against in the playoffs with just how physical they are. You know, Mason Sebeski, 13 hits the other night against Guelph. Ben Wilmot, 8 hits. On top of all these other guys that already love to hit for the Barrie Colts. They're a very physical team. And I think at the end of the day, they're going to wear and tear you down throughout a playoff series.
And there's going to be a big test coming up Thursday back in Barrie as the Flint Firebirds make their one and only visit. We've got two games between Barrie and Flint over these next 3 weeks. And it's going to be a big challenge. Picking up, you can hear it on the broadcast, but we've got, I think the truck horn is right to our broadcast right. But anyways, back on topic here, the Flint Firebirds, they're coming to town. That's going to be a huge test. They pick up Kevin He, Jacob Battaglia, and we'll see how the Colts can match up against one of the top contenders in the Western Conference.
Yeah, that's the last team we haven't seen yet. We've seen everyone else in the OHL. We know what the Barrie Colts can do against the rest of the league, but we haven't seen the Flint Firebirds, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Kevin He has taken off since joining the Firebirds, and Jacob Battaglia has had a good first impression as well. A guy that was a bit slow to start the season with the Kingston Frontenacs, but scored 90 points last season. If he can play up to that potential for Flint, they're going to be a really dangerous team down the stretch.
And of course, I think it helps for Battaglia that that team with the Flint Firebirds have a lot more depth than what the Kingston Frontenacs were having, because you play against Kingston, you know Battaglia is one of the top guys. You can try and shut him down, and I think Battaglia was having some struggles there, but still, it's going to be fascinating. Thursday back at the Sadlin Arena. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop. In the meantime, we're getting ready for the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals, our first trip back to the Tributes Community Center since the Eastern Conference Final. It's always fun when it's the Colts and the Generals. They may be at opposite ends of the spectrum on the standings, but you know this rivalry is alive and well.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see the last couple of years, and now Oshawa kind of in the situation Barrie was in 2 years ago, where even though they were at the bottom of the standings, they're going to prove to the opposing team that they can still contend, and I think Oshawa has a lot to prove tonight against Barrie.
So we're going to take a quick break as they're getting ready for their ceremonies honoring David Branch, who passed a week ago. So we're going to take a break, but when we return, we will have puck drop for the first period here in Oshawa between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals. So we are just about ready to go for puck drop between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals. While we have a moment, We're going to take a look at our starting goaltenders, which is presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, first for the Barrie Colts, Ben Horebic getting another start here. 15-7-2-3 on the season with a .929 save percentage and a .271 goals against average. Horebic's last game came in our last broadcast, stopping 31 of 34 on Friday night against the Guelph Storm. For the Oshawa Generals, it's a recently acquired Matthew Humphreys getting the start. Despite an 0-5-1 record for Humphreys, he does have a .929 save percentage and a .231 goals against average, stopping 41 of 43 in a 3-1 loss on Thursday to Peterborough.
Our referees tonight, Tyson Stewart and Ian Rush, and on the lines, Joe Kilbowich and Hunter Gasper, as we're just about ready to go here for puck drop between the Colts and the Generals as they close out this weekend's events. The Colts trying to go a perfect 3-3 as they started things off in Guelph Friday nights and then last night in Barrie, so they want to go for the perfect 6 points and for a possible 6, while the Oshawa Generals trying to snap an 11-game losing streak, as it's been a long season so far for Oshawa, but we'll see what's in store here as Owen Griffin gets set to take the draw for Oshawa up against Jaden Newton of the Barrie Colts. And we are underway. Face-off won by Barrie as Hanser has it at his own blue line. He'll send it across to Parker Von Richter. Newton forcing it through the neutral zone, passes up to Desiderio. That's out of his reach. That's going to go back behind the Oshawa net. Timmerman puts it in front. Griffin's going to collect it now for the Generals. Up to Rogowski. Rogowski forward to Griffin. Puck's bouncing, sent to the corner. Hanser collects that loose puck. He'll skate this one forward for the Barrie Colts. Hanser will just dump this one in. Humphreys out of his net to collect it. He's going to send this one around the boards. That's going to sail back to the Barrie blue line as Kayshawn Aitchison's back to play it. And the booze already starting here in Oshawa. We were talking about that before the broadcast. How soon until we hear the booze? As he's been public enemy number one these last 2 years of playoffs against Oshawa and Barrie. Puck comes back to the point. Shot by Passmore. It's blocked, and the Generals are going to get it out. That's Calto. Calto stopped. Bodwan comes up with it. That's knocked off his tape. Kayshawn Aitchison on the near side. He's going to send it ahead. Wilmot. Here's Hemming. Hemming to the net. Takes the shot. Humphreys the save. And he's going to hold on to that. You got to think, Kayshawn Aitchison loves the attention here in Oshawa.
Oh, definitely. It's what he lives for, really, with these other OHL environments. They'll boo him, and then it seems like after that he starts to play better. It kind of doesn't really work for these fan bases, but it has worked for Oshawa the last 2 years. They haven't really shut down Aitchison, but they have beaten the Colts back-to-back years.
We'll get the face-off now to the right of Humphreys. Mason Zabeskian to take the draw against Owen Griffin. Won by the Colts. Kayshawn Aitchison has it at the point. He's going to send this one around. Generals will pick it up. Griffin, his pass doesn't connect. As moving away was Murnane. Generals trying to get it out. Gardner, though, keeps it at the point. That's going to be sent around. Moore after the loose puck for Oshawa. Aitchison will keep this one in. Zabeski off the half boards. It's taken away. Murnane behind the net. Crombie on the forecheck delivers the hit. Sends this one back to Passmore, but he can't keep it in. Kayshawn Aitchison back to plate in his own zone. He's facing some pressure there from Figliomiani. Sang trying to collect it now for Oshawa. He's going to dump this one in. Rebick out of his net to play it. Kayshawn Aitchison behind his own net. You know Aitchison is out there once those boos start. That's the thing about junior hockey. They remember.
They hadn't even done the last move there before he got the puck again.
Oh, they were anticipating him to come back to play it. They started booing him while Rebick had the puck. As we'll get a face-off with the offside call against Barrie.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Colts can start this game. The last 2 games, they've came out flying, getting the opening goal 3 minutes into the game on Friday against the Guelph Storm, and then last night only taking Cole Baudouin 13 seconds to get on the board.
Face-off won by the Colts. That's going to go all the way back to Ben Horebick. He's going to put it to the corner. Emerton plays this one around to Eliasson. Up the wing. Here's Carter Lowe. Lowe gets this one out to center as Cormier trying to send it back into the Barrie end. Here's Emerton. Cole Emerton doesn't go behind his own net. He's being chased there, trying to go up ahead to Carter Lowe. That's away from him. Playing it now is Timmerman. He'll send it forward. Not able to connect on that was Possumus. Emerton skating it out now for the Colts. He'll reach center ice, stumps this one in. Around the boards it goes. Blasick Can't get a stick on it. Baudouin keeps it in. Salandra puts it back behind the Oshawa net. Around the boards it goes. Aitchison off the point. Sends it here to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin has it in the corner. He's looking for options. Comes back. Hemming. Toe drag. Takes the shot. And that's going to go wide of the net. Lessig will come up with it now for Oshawa. Takes a hard hit from Baudouin. Puts this one down the ice. It won't be icing. It went right on Horevic. Evan Passmore will set things up behind his own net. Gives that one to Aitchison. Up the wing. Here's Ben Wilmot. Wilmot carrying it in. Takes the shot. Shoulder save. Humphreys. And that's going to go out of play as Wilmot had a pretty good look there as he's trying to extend his goal scoring streak.
Got some great opportunities here these first two games with the Barrie Colts. And Emil Hemming, another good opportunity there as well. That shift, I know he's a bit under the weather this weekend, but sure he'd love to get in on the goal scoring. He's still looking for his first goal since returning from Finland.
Well, that line has been a chemistry. Baudouin, Hemming, and Wilmot, even though Hemming may be under the weather, they just seem to have clicked. As Hemming has it right now, moves into the slot, backhand. That's blocked by Hein. Back to Passmore. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison sends it down low to Hemming. Hemming from the corner. Comes back to Aitchison. That's out of his reach, but he's still able to bat it over to Passmore. Around the boards it goes. Near side, Hemming. Hemming takes the hit. Lets it go back to Aitchison. His shot goes off the skate of Frolov. Wilmot gets it again at the corner. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. Takes the shot, and that goes wide of the net. Getting in the way of that shot was Tyler Hind. Baudouin behind the net. Has this one in the corner, trying to send this one back. Franson will take it away and clears it down the ice. Blocked there by Hanser. Franzen gets it again for Oshawa. There's a collision in the neutral zone. Franzen cuts across. Backhand stop. Rebound. And that goes over the net. Getting a chance there was Calto. But it got a little too much under it as the Colts will regroup behind their own net. Justin Hanser. He'll move this one ahead for the Colts. Reaches center. He'll dump this one in. Around the boards it goes, but they're going to call this icing against the Barrie Colts, and we'll bring this one back.
Good look there for Oshawa. It was Harrison Franson working his way around Von Richter. He drove the net, backhander, stopped by Horevic, and then the rebound came out to Calto, but he sent it over top of the net, and then Kayshawn Aitchison was behind the net there and made a glove save of his own.
So we've got 15:38 still to play in this first period. No score so far between the Colts and the Generals. Face-off won by Oshawa. Feely keeps this one behind the Barrie net. Hanser's there to collect it. He'll send this one around. Desiderio trying to get it out. Feely was in the way. Feely gets it again. Back to Berdleitner. That's picked off by Jonah McCormick. He's going to skate this one forward. Sends it into the Oshawa zone. Desiderio gives chase. Trying to put it out in front. An Oshawa player lost his stick, but the Generals will recover, and Griffin gets it out. Rogowski chasing after this loose puck, passes it across, but that one's blocked by Von Richter. McCormick, he'll flip this one down the ice. Back to collect it is Lucas Moore, the former Brantford Bulldog. Up ahead to Rogowski. Rogowski sends it across, blocked by Crombie. Alvin Crombie puts this one off the glass. Smirnov will take it out to center as the Generals regroup. Up the middle, Smirnov has it in the neutral zone, sends it forward. Eliasson will take it away, sends it back to Emerton. Emerton back behind his own net. Up ahead, here's Calvin Crombie. Crombie reaching center ice. He'll skate this one in himself. Crombie, nice little move there, but that's poked off his stick. Colts get it at the point. Emerton, his pass is blocked. Good work there by Ben Cormier. Generals get it out momentarily, but Emerton's going to send it right back to where it started. Moore sends this one around. Loose puck picked up by Crombie to the net, and Humphreys makes the save. Smirnov just trying to get this one out. Kept in by Eliasson. Takes the shot, deflected as Zabeski got a piece of it. Postumus on the far side. Takes the hit from Zabeski. Sends it back behind his own net for Moore. Moore dropping this one back. Murnane gets it up to Postumus. Near side, Cormier. Cormier is going to send this one back behind the Barrie net as Smirnov gives chase for Oshawa. He's tied up by Emerton. Loose puck sent up the middle. Generals get the turnover, but not able to capitalize as Carter Lowe skates it out. He's got Brad Gardner with him. Gardner on the wing, takes the shot, and that's going to go wide. Griffin, after that loose puck, he'll send this one forward. Sang on the far side, puts it towards the net, and Horevic will cover it up as he had Anthony Figlimiani coming right at him, but we're going to have a face-off. 13:35 remaining here in the first.
Well, Oshawa brought out 12 forwards and 7 defensemen coming into warm-ups, letting one extra player take a skate. We wondered who would end up being scratched, and Oshawa deciding to go 11-7, keeping Colin Feely in the lineup. Brennan Huck, who is supposed to be the third-line center, out of the lineup for Oshawa tonight.
Yeah, changing things up last mix. We were in the media room, and they were saying it was probably going to be Feely that would be the extra.
Well, they were debating it, and then Jack Moore said, well, he did play Friday, though, and then they were debating with about Posthumous playing on the fourth line because he's one of their better players, and it ends up being Huck.
Yeah, just trying to keep us on our toes. But still no score to report here between the Colts and the Generals. Kind of a slower pace than what we've seen the last two nights, especially thinking back to Friday night, where it seemed as though the Colts just wanted to send a statement right away with the new players. But here tonight, a more cautious approach, so to speak.
Well, both teams, it feels maybe a bit tired. Oshawa's third game in 4 nights, the Colts' third game in 3 nights, and early on, it's kind of felt like the Barrie Colts, they need to be a bit careful in their own zone. Oshawa has gotten a couple chances to the net here early on.
Well, that's the thing about Oshawa. They may be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, but a lot of their games have been pretty close. They only lost by a score of 4-2 against Kitchener Friday night. As the Colts trying to get this one out of their zone, battle, Figliamiani. He'll send it back behind the Barrie net. Here's Passmore. Passmore sends this one ahead. Wang keeps this one in. Schneid up ahead to Carter Lowe. Salandra gets it in his skates, trying to force it forward. Schneid follows it up, sends it towards the net. Ends up behind the Oshawa goaltender. Loose puck, Carter Lowe in front. That went off a skate. And the Generals able to get to the line. Not out. Kept in by Aitchison. Generals get it again. This time they'll get it to the line and out. Aitchison will collect it at center. Aitchison across to Evan Passmore. Back to Aitchison, who will carry this one in for the Colts. So the net, Humphreys the save, and he'll pounce on that one as Kayshawn Aitchison just sending that one on net.
Well, Barrie Colts early on in the season, not a lot of 3-3s, and those are slowly starting to come. They had one right before the break against Brampton, London, and Sudbury, and then the one this weekend, and then we'll have another one at the start of February, a Friday night in Brampton before a home-and-home with the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, the schedule's just going to pick right up here. We're now in that final push towards the 2026 playoffs. Now the trade deadline has passed. The rosters have been set. It's going to be a fun race at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. That's for sure. The Colts right in the thick of it. Puck's behind the net. Wilmot picks it up here for the Colts. He'll pass it forward to Von Richter. Far side. Here's Hemming on the wing. He's got Bodwin going to the net. Bodwin can't catch up to it. Puck goes to the corner. Sent back to the blue line. It's Justin Hanser. Hanser with a shot. That goes wide. Wilmot reaching, but that's out of his reach. Generals trying to get this one out. Wilmot in the way, tying up his man. That's Tyler Hind. Generals pick it up. Franzen will skate this one forward. Harrison Franzen dumps this one in. It's a longtime Oshawa General. He's taken into the boards by Hanser. Battle ensues. Griffin trying to pick it up here for Oshawa. Sends it back to the blue line. Near side Vlasic. Vlasic takes the shot. Stopped by Horevic. Puck goes to the corner. Bird Leitner sends us back to Vlasic. That goes back behind the Barrie net. Picked up here by the Generals. That's Brooks Rogowski. Gives it up to Vlasic. Vlasic with a shot. Kicked aside by Horevic. Colts picked that one up. It's McCormick. McCormick turns it over to Bird Leitner. Bird Leitner comes back to the point. Looks to the net. Takes the shot. Blocked by Hanser. And the Colts will dig it free. And McCormick gets it to the line and out. It's a late offside here against Oshawa. Desiderio is going to come back for it. Nicholas Desiderio. He'll move it up. Reaches center ice. Still with it. Desiderio gives it up to Newton, but they're going to call this one offside, as I believe McCormick may have been just ahead of the play on the far side.
Brooks Rogowski in the lineup for Oshawa tonight, and guy who hasn't really been able to show his true potential yet in the OHL. Last season was at the bottom of the lineup on a really stacked Oshawa team, and then this year was out for a while with an upper body injury, and now finally getting back, but still a guy that could potentially go first round in the NHL draft and was recently named an alternate captain for the OHL top prospects game.
Well, Rogowski right now 4th in team scoring, 6 goals, 16 assists for 22 points. As he's a player that they're going to be building around as Aitchison sends it over to Passmore, takes the shot. Humphreys the save. Passmore goes around the net. In for Crombie. What a save by Humphreys. Gardner fires, and that one's blocked by Cormier. That was the best save of the night so far, and that was Humphreys absolutely robbing Calvin Crombie. Moore, he's going to send this one out and down the ice. Picking it up is Smirnov. Smirnov stopped there by Gardner. Generals send it in. Puck comes to the near side. Ostamus sends it around. Smirnov after that loose puck. Down to Cormier. Cormier back to the blue line. Lucas Moore takes the shot. And Harebic makes the glove save. And he'll hold on with 10:20 left here in the first period.
What a look there by the Barrie Colts. Aitchison finds Evan Passmore open. He does a good job getting down behind the net, puts it out front for Crombie. But what a save by Matthew Humphreys, who's been a bit of a redemption story for the Generals as of late. He had an .832 save percentage last season with Niagara over 13 games. Did a good job with the Aurora Tigers at the OJHL. Got one more game with the Ice Dogs where he posted a .750 save percentage. It's a change of scenery here in Oshawa, and things have looked really good so far.
And that's going to be an icing call against the Barrie Colts, so they're going to bring this one back. But it has been fascinating with Humphreys because he was seen as that odd man out with the Niagara Ice Dogs and went tier 2 with Aurora. And now he's comfortable here with this Oshawa Generals team, just looking for that first win.
Well, it feels like for Niagara, nothing can go right over these last couple of years. So give it to them to have a goaltender that couldn't post a save percentage even in the mid 850s to go to get traded and immediately become a starting goaltender in the OHL.
Colts get this one out. Here's Joe Salandra at center ice. Takes a bump there from Sang. He'll dump this one in. Humphreys leaves it there for his defense. Anthony Timmerin. Puck goes behind the net. Blessed gives chase. Salandra couldn't get a stick on it. Figlamani. He'll send this one around. Salandra will tie him up. Generals will put this one over the glass and out of play. And we're waiting to see if it was deflected or if it went clean over the glass. The officials right now are discussing. And it looks like the indication from the linesman was it may have gone off the glass. But no official decision as of yet. They're still having a conference here. So we'll wait and see. It's a pretty long discussion to determine if it was puck over glass. Now I think they're calling over the other linesman.
Well, we don't know, so we'll ask you.
Did you see what happened? Well, they have a new puck. No, they're going to say delay a game. So the Barrie Colts, they're going to get the first power play of the hockey game.
Well, I think Barrie saw that coming because it didn't take long for the 5 regulars of the power play to get out there on the ice together. Aitchison and Everton were already out, and Baudouin and Hemming and Salandra have already joined them. It's going to be, looks like Figliomani in the box.
So it's Figlamani for delay of game. So the Barrie Colts going on the power play, brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. The Barrie Colts power play right now ranked 5th at 23.1%, while the penalty kill for Oshawa, middle of the pack, right now 13th at 77.2%. So big face-off coming to the right of Humphreys as we're still looking for our first goal of the hockey game. Face-off won by Barrie. Emerton goes to Hemming. Mel Hemming sends it down low. Salandra trying to pass it in front. That was blocked by Griffin. Colts send it back to the blue line. Here's Emerton. Across to Aitchison. Aitchison looks down low, sets up Baudouin. Cole Baudouin from the corner. Back to Aitchison. Aitchison to Baudouin. Baudouin in front was trying to find Hemming at the back door. Emerton keeps it in at the blue line. Here's Emil Hemming. Hemming down low. That's deflected, and the Generals will get it out. That's going to go down the length of the ice. 1:26 left in the power play here for Barrie. Emerton comes out from behind the net. He'll skate this one forward for the Colts. Drops it back to Hemming. Emil Hemming through the neutral zone. Carries this one in. Lost the handle. Salandra's able to collect it. Drops it back to Hemming on the half boards. Emil Hemming looking back to the point. Salandra back to Hemming. Baudouin in front. That was too high for Aitchison, and the Generals are going to get it out shorthanded. Skating this one forward is Calto. Calto shorthanded. Backhand stopped by Harebic. Nice save there by the Colts netminder. Now the Colts are going to take it back the other way. Aitchison has it. That's knocked off his stick, and the Generals get it out. Still 45 seconds left in the man advantage here for the Colts. They're going to change the power play unit. Parker Von Richter dropping this one back to Crombie. Here's Ben Wilmot. Wilmot skates it in, drops it for Gardner. Brad Gardner from the corner, spins around, sets up Von Richter at the point. Back to Gardner. Gardner, backhand pass. That's blocked. Crombie in the middle, over to Wilmot, and he'll find the back of the net. That's goals in 3 straight games for Ben Wilmot and the Barrie Colts. They're up 1-0.
I think I like that addition.
Just that casual, huh?
Well, it doesn't get any better for Ben Wilmot. I asked him yesterday, could you have a better start to your Barrie Colts tenure? And it continues here today. He was wide open there in the red faceoff dot. No one covering him, and he's able to slap it home over top of Humphreys. Barrie Colts' second power play unit. It's basically a whole new unit. As Gardner's wingers are Wilmot and Sapeski, and then Von Richter's the only defender on that power play unit.
That's now 15 goals on the season for Ben Wilmot. That now puts him second in scoring for the Barrie Colts, only behind Cole Beaudoin as the Generals look to respond. What a save by Hrebeck. He robs Owen Griffin. Griffin after the puck behind the net. Von Richter will find it. Rogowski takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck. Moore fires that one wide of the net, and that's going to sail out to center ice. Murnay back to Verd Leitner. Those two will play catch deep in their own zone. Generals trying to move it ahead. Griffin gets it into the Barrie zone, but that got away from him. Von Richter up the wing. Here's Calvin Crombie. Crombie skates it in for the Colts, takes the shot, stopped by Humphreys in the air. It's batted out of the air by Zabeski, and the referee, they're going to call this a high stick, so we'll get a whistle.
Well, over the last couple of games, I've already had the opportunity to speak with all three of the new additions, two of them last night, Zabeski and Ben Wilmot, and they all very excited to come to Barrie, and Zabeski really crediting the Colts crowd. You know, it's a great atmosphere, he said, in Barrie, has a ton of experience playing in there. And then Ben Wilmot gave a shout out to the London Knights last night as well for letting him get in a morning skate on Friday before heading off to Guelph.
Well, the story with Ben Wilmot showing up an hour and a half before the game in a pickup truck with his equipment. That was quite the story. As there's a turnover, here's McCormick backhand, and he'll miss the net. Colts trying to put more pressure here on the Oshawa Generals. They'll send this one forward. Here's Smirnov. Smirnov stopped by Emerton, and that's going to be collected by McCormick. Seeing a lot of this fourth line tonight for the Barrie Colts. As McCormick's going to drop it back to Gabriel Eliasson. Eliasson up to Jaden Newton. Newton sends this one deep. Around the boards it goes. Feely back to picking up for Oshawa. He'll go back behind his own net. Feely puts this one off the glass. Cormier trying to get a stick on it. McCormick's there as they battle to keep it in the Oshawa zone. Desiderio digs it free. Nicholas Desiderio along the boards trying to play it here. Tied up by Feely. Newton digs it free. Back to Aitchison at the point. He's just going to send this one around the boards. Franson after it. Passmore comes off the point. Ends up back behind the Oshawa net. Loose puck. Jaden Newton gets a stick on it. That's knocked back behind the Oshawa goal. Griffin's back to play it. That goes off the skate of Hemming. Wilmot down low. Here's Hemming. One-timer stop. Rebound. Another chance. They jam at it. And Humphrey is able to cover it up. But what a setup. Ben Wilmot to email Hemming as those two have really clicked.
A really nice pass there by Wilmot. Hemming gets it out front. And it's a couple nice saves as puck comes to the middle. And actually Jaden Newton with the last pass there after Wilmot chipped it down to him. And Hemming, again, it feels like he's already had 3 or 4 chances right at the front of the net tonight.
Do you think he's feeling better?
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah, because we were told he was dealing with flu-like symptoms.
Looks okay.
Hemming gets it back to Passmore as the Colts moving around the Oshawa zone. That goes to the corner, picked up by Lachamp. He'll get this one out to center ice. Calto couldn't collect it. Beaudoin skates it back in for Barrie. Cole Beaudoin from the half board sends it back. That pass, though, goes off of Calto, and the Generals get it out. Aitchison misses the hit on Calto and open ice, takes the shot, and that's going to go wide of the net. There's a big hit there from Wilmot as the Generals trying to set things up, but the Colts using that physicality to really limit Oshawa's opportunities as Beaudoin steals the puck, takes it down low. Cole Beaudoin sending this down to Hemming. Emil Hemming comes out of the corner. Drops it there for Beaudoin. In front, Hanser. Shot, scores! What a shot! Justin Hanser picks off the corner, out and in. And just like that, the Barrie Colts are now up 2-0.
Well, what a pass from Cole Beaudoin as well. 2 defenders on him in the corner, and he's able to quickly backhand it out front to Hanser. Calto couldn't get over to deflect it in time. Hanser one-timers at home, and the Barrie Colts have a 2-0 lead, and Justin Hanser continuing to play really strong. And has earned a lot of trust with Dylan Smoskowitz. When you look at the lines nowadays, Justin Hanser is on the second pairing alongside Parker Von Richter. And I know obviously the Barrie Colts want to keep Eliasson and Emerton together, but you can't do that if you don't have another quality left defenseman, and that's what they have in Justin Hanser.
Well, it's amazing how with Hemming and Bodwin doing that cycle in the corner, all four generals looking in that direction didn't see Hanser coming right up down the middle and able to get that one-timer off. And it's Justin Hanser now sitting on 4 goals this season. Generals get it out. Emerton, though, he knocks this one down as Barrie looks to enter the zone again. Carter Lowe dumps it in. Classic gets it down low for the Generals, sends to the near side. As Oshawa will send this down the length of the ice, getting a stick on it in the neutral zone. That's Sang. Rowan Sang turns it over to Slandra. Slandra will send it to an open wing. Schneid will come back for it. William Schneid gets to center. Up to Slandra. Chips that one off the boards. Vlasic will be the first one on it for Oshawa. His clearing attempt blocked. Zabeski gets to it. Mason Zabeski bumped off the puck. Figlemani will get it out to center ice. Zabeski steals it from him. Good stick work there from Zabeski. Loose puck collected by Hanser. Justin Hanser gives it to Gardner. Gardner along the boards. That'll go down behind the net. Hanser trying to get a stick on it. Puck comes to the half boards on the near side. Gardner trying to send this one in front. Picked up here by Mason Zabeski. Zabeski, backhand. That's out of the reach of Von Richter. Into the slot, but no one could get a stick on it. It's picked up by Cormier. Generals get it out, and that's going to go out of play as Possumus has that one go off his stick and out of play. 4:05 left to go in the first period. 2-0 Barrie.
Well, good start for the Colts. It took 12 minutes, but now they've gotten 2 goals in the last 4. And when you're playing a team like Oshawa, they've only got 9 wins this season. They've lost 11 in a row. If you can get a few early goals, maybe add another goal here in the first period, you kind of get them thinking, oh, great, another game, we're going to lose. And that kind of gets them out of the game. And you can take advantage of that over the next couple periods.
And we have seen Oshawa in this first period get a couple of decent looks. But when, they find their way behind the Barrie defense, that's where Ben Harebik has stood tall. He's faced 7 shots so far in this hockey game. And, this Barrie Colts team, for the most part, possession time has been down in the Oshawa zone.
Yeah, this is a thing you look at when it comes to this Barrie Colts team. Last night against Brampton, playing a Steelheads team, they don't have a lot of goal scorers right now. They're a rebuilding team, and when you have the 6 defenders that the Barrie Colts have, it's kind of hard to do stuff in the offensive zone in the first place. And then when you get your chances, it's hard to score them because of the way Ben Harebik and Urban Jaswal are playing.
So we're going to get face off at center ice. Cormier is going to take the draw here against Brad Gardner. As he'll try this face off once again. Face off won by the Colts. Justin Hanser has it. Back to Von Richter. Justin Hanser sends this one ahead. Crombie enters the zone, but Zabeski couldn't hold that line, so they're going to call this offside against Barrie.
Obviously for Oshawa as well, as they're trying to kind of figure out what their future looks like right now. They're not a team with a lot of goal scoring. The more goals you can get earlier in this game, the earlier you can take them out of the game.
Well, it's such a proud franchise, and for this organization, the fan support is still phenomenal. Like seeing the crowd here, it's nearly a full house at the Tributes Community Center, despite the struggles of the team this season. You even met a young fan who was 3 years old, and he was here for his birthday, and the mother said he's been here since he was 12 days old. So it just goes to show the passion of this Oshawa Generals fan base, despite their struggles. Right now find themselves down 2-0 as Moore has it in the neutral zone, passes it across. Colts trying to take it away. That's Calvin Crombie. Crombie has it, gives it to Gardner. Gardner to Crombie, that goes off his skate, rolls to the net. Moore's going to come up with it for Oshawa, and he'll get this one out to center. Puck bouncing over the stick of Evan Passmore. Back to collect it. Here is Desiderio. Aitchison couldn't get a stick on it. Snuck up by him. Moore back to Vlasic. Franzen dumps this in for Oshawa. Harebik will collect it behind the net. He's going to put this one around the boards to the line. Vlasic can't keep it in. It's laid offside here against Oshawa, but Kayshawn Aitchison's going to skate it out himself. Sends this one deep. Feely back to play it here for the Generals. Figlemani. He'll send this one out. McCormick's there at center. Puts it right back into the Oshawa zone. Colts right now completing a line change as Vlasic starts things off behind his own net. Brady Blasick. He'll move this one forward for Oshawa. Decides to drop back to Feely. Figlamani sends this one on goal. Hrebic had to read that bounce. Ends up going to the corner. Battle in the near side. You've got Figlamani and Sang along the boards being tied up by Eliason and Newton. The referee's wanting them to move it. Cole Emerton trying to see around there. Looks like it's in the skates of Figlamani. Now Emerton will move it free. Cole Emerton skates this one up. Here's McCormick. McCormick dumps this one in off the end boards. Wilmot comes up with it. Backhand pass. That's blocked. He stays with it behind the Oshawa net. Wilmot sends this one around. No one there for Barrie. Bird Leitner trying to get it out. Blocked by Emerton. Puck in the far corner. Oshawa will get to it and send it out to center. Figlamani dumps this one in for Oshawa. He's going to go off for a change. As we have 1:40 left to go in this first period, Barrie up 2-0. Emerton back behind the net, facing pressure there from Owen Griffin. Emerton turns that one over. Generals, though, can't hold on to it as Wilmot will move it free. Wilmot sends it deep. Hemming gives chase, beats out the icing call. Emil Hemming sends it back to the point. No one there for Barrie, but then two Generals nearly collide. Wilmot blocks the clearing attempt, gives it to Hemming. Hemming back to Wilmot. That's out of his reach. Has it at the side of the goal. Puck goes into the skates of the official. Baudouin will dig it out. Sends it to the opposite side, picked up by Passmore. Passmore takes it down low. At the blue line, that's Hemming. Emil Hemming trying to keep this one in as we're in the final minute of the first. Generals, they'll get this one out and down the ice. But the puck's just rolling, and it will make it. And that's an icing call now against Oshawa, so they won't be able to make a line change.
Well, coming here last, it's the third season now I've been able to come to an Oshawa Generals game. One of the best things about it is that if the Generals score in the final minute of a period, a certain row of fans gets to go home with free curly fries from Arby's. No,
Are you saying you want to go for curly fries after the game?
Do you want it? Well,
Potentially.
okay. It's a date.
Excellent.
Now, I haven't attended a game as a fan, only as I did some Rogers TV volunteering with Durham and then with you guys last season, but so haven't been involved in the curly fries, but
oh man, you're a sucker for the promotions.
No comment.
There you go. Puck's deep as the Generals try and get this one out. Rogowski sends it forward. That's going to go out to the neutral zone. Passmore sends it right back into the Oshawa zone. Puck comes around. Zabeski after the loose puck. It's bouncing. Crombie couldn't get a stick on it. Generals get it out. 22 seconds left in the period. Parker Von Richter up to Gardner. Gardner drops it back to Hanser. Justin Hanser along the wing. Already a goal tonight. Takes the shot. Stopped by Humphreys. As he'll hold on to that. 12.4 seconds now left to go in this first period.
Nice look by Hanser there again. Mentioned about Rogowski being an alternate for the prospect game coming up soon, and Justin Hanser will also be in attendance. He's representing the Barrie Colts this season.
Yeah, it's nice to see that Hanser is being recognized for his efforts. Like last year, he wasn't getting a lot of the points, but now you can see as his game develops, he's gaining more confidence. He's got such a great shot too.
Well, one thing the Barrie Colts have liked to do with their young guys the last few years is, even if you are a healthy scratch for a lot of the season, have them around the team, experiencing what it's like to be in the OHL, and it seemed to do wonders for a lot of guys like Justin Hanser and, of course, the goaltenders. Ben Hrebic and Arvin Jaswell both spent a season as the third goaltender.
Face-off one by Oshawa, but Baudouin goes after it, sends it back to the point. 5 seconds. Aitchison shot deflected over the net. Von Richter trying that backhand. It's blocked. Oshawa will get this one out. And that's the buzzer. Now we've got Generals going after Kayshawn Aitchison. That's Franzen and Calto. Obviously, Franzen, he's been a member of Oshawa these last few seasons, so he's seen quite a bit of Kayshawn Aitchison in the playoffs. But cooler heads will prevail. The linesmen will get between them. But man, oh man, Kayshawn Aitchison, does he ever get under the skin of members of the Oshawa Generals and the crowd here? Because as soon as he touched the puck, we could hear the boos. And we were just, before even the broadcast started, we were joking about that. Well, how long until this happens? How long until this? How about the booing of Kayshawn Aitchison? And you said it's probably going to be right away, and you were right.
Another prediction correct.
There you
for
go.
me. There we go. Someone said we're scared of predictions. It depends. When we're right, we like them.
Yeah,
we like
if we're
when
right on the predictions for once.
For Aitchison, I mean, in a couple seasons when he's in the NHL, I think there's going to be like a small section of people at Leaf games booing him, and it's just going to be Oshawa fans still following him around, booing him there. But credit to the Generals fan base, like you mentioned, they're one of the best fan bases out there in the OHL. They're very loud, very rowdy, and it doesn't matter what the record is. The fans are going to come out. They're going to support the team no matter what. Is it at 100% capacity today? No, but it's probably like 80%, would you say? Like,
yeah, I'd probably say about 80% here.
Like for many teams, having a record like the Oshawa Generals do, that would mean like a very small crowd, and it's kind of hard to get tickets. And for the Generals, all that really means is it's maybe not a sellout every night. But when this team is even fifth in the Eastern Conference, they're going to get people coming in, selling out the arena every night. Even last season, that last game between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals, there was a huge rainstorm and potential tornado warnings around the area. Did you see a single empty seat? No,
of course not.
We didn't have a place to sit. We stood in the that end down there, but behind the goaltenders, we couldn't find a seat in the house that night.
And it's funny that you're talking about Keishon Aitchison, because before the game, you had a chance to catch up with him. He's one of those guys that you can just strike up a conversation with him, and he's got time for everybody. If you're a fan of the game and whatnot, he'll talk hockey with you. And it was just like that because he was playing for Team Canada at the World Juniors, wins the bronze medal, comes back to the Colts, gets 2 goals Friday night against the Guelph Storm. He's been picking up right where he left off.
Yeah, there's tons to talk about with Keishon Aitchison. The World Juniors, the future here in Barrie over the next couple of months, and like you mentioned, such a great guy to talk to. Talking to him today, it's easy. Some guys, they're a bit shy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't get as much out of them in an interview. Keishon Aitchison, he gives you great answers, and as well, I've learned with Keishon Aitchison, if you're going to talk to him, the conversation begins and ends with a handshake. The one time on Rogers TV, I didn't see him reach out the hand, and then he was kind of just sitting there for a minute, and I look at him, and he's kind of just looking down at me, and I was a bit confused, and I look down, and I see his hand, and then most of the interviews, you end them with, especially on the Rogers TV broadcast, and at the end of the game, post-game, it's okay, hey, thanks for doing this, and then they'll say thank you, and then they skate off. They got to get to their team for the celebration afterwards, and you've got to wrap up. Aitchison, he waited and shook my hand and then headed off as well.
So what you're saying is he's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
Well, there we go. So here's
the mayor.
He could be a great mayor. But anyways, here's Josh McCann's interview pregame with Barrie Colts co-captain Keishon Aitchison.
Joined by Colts defenseman Keishon Aitchison. Keishon, it's your first week back from the World Juniors. I know you guys didn't get the ultimate goal in winning gold, but there's still something to take from winning a bronze, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely going as playing for Canada and wearing that maple leaf. It's the expectation is gold or nothing, but we're happy that we could rally together on that afternoon on Sunday or Monday and get the bronze medal and still bring home a medal for Canada and our country. So yeah, we're happy about that.
And what was it like as well, that bronze medal game? It's you and Cole Baudouin versus Emil Hemming. I'm sure that meant a lot to you guys.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to come back to Barrie and have him have the bronze medal. So no, we were definitely just wanted to give it our all, like we did all tournament. And we came home out of that game with the bronze.
You played a lot alongside Ben Damford. You guys have had a lot of battles here between Barrie and Oshawa over the years. What was that like?
Yeah, he's a great competitor. We got pretty tight over those 4 or 3 weeks, and we talked about a lot of our battles, and he's a hell of a player, and we both know that our battles won't be stopping anytime soon. So it was fun playing with him for the time being, but now we're back to business, back to work.
First time in Oshawa since last season. There's a lot of memories here, good and bad. I know last year it didn't go the way you wanted, and then 2 years ago, though, even though you guys lost the series, you kind of made a couple statements here in this building with some big wins.
Yeah, I think we just kind of want to come in here and just play our game. I think if we just work hard, stick to our structure, play in our system. The results will be what we want. Obviously, losing the past 2 years to this team isn't a great feeling, but it's a lot of new guys over there, and obviously remember that. But it's kind of in the past, and we're just focusing on building this team together and this family here.
Was there anything you took from those 2 series that you're able to bring into the postseason this year that you can kind of give to some of the other guys that are maybe new to the OHL?
Yeah, I think you obviously learn from your successes, but you also, I think, learn more from the failures you see. And I think a big piece is our culture, our family this year. I think we treat each other like brothers. We're all one. We're all just as valuable to the team as one another in different ways. And I think that's going to carry us through the playoffs and through any team that we see is just our tightness and our belief in this group.
Parker Von Richter just added to the team, and now it feels like you guys were already a really good defensive team, and just adding him, it feels like a really strong back end.
Yeah, no, he's a great add. Just very good two-way. Really good with the puck, making plays up the ice. He'll always throw a big hit, block a big shot. He's kind of a guy you want to go to battle with, and I think Smosk and Marty and this organization did a great job picking up guys again for our culture and guys that you want to go to war with and do whatever it takes for them.
You've been playing with Evan Passmore all season. Is there a little bit of a rivalry there with the fact you guys are Islanders and Rangers draft picks at all?
A little bit, but not too much. We don't talk about it too much, but no, it was definitely pretty funny how we were deep pairings and we ended up in the 2 biggest rivals. So no, it's definitely a little funny.
The last question, you're 23 points away from breaking the record for most points among a Barrie Colts defenseman. I know from interviews in the past you'd give up all the records just to win an OHL championship, but what does it mean to you to be in the conversation with a guy like Aaron Ekblad for points, a guy that's won Stanley Cups and done so much in the NHL?
Definitely means a lot. I don't think any of it, definitely none of it would have happened without, the coaching staff, every coach that's been through here, every teammate that's been through here, teaching me some good lessons and helping me along the ride. And yeah, like you said, it will definitely be an honor, but, I don't think it will mean much if we don't go all the way with this thing. So I'm more focused on that.
It's the first intermission here at the Tributes Community Center between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals. Barrie right now up by a 2-0 score. Goals coming from Justin Hanser and Ben Wilmot as this Colts team 3-3. They've been busy this weekend looking to extend their point streak to 7 games. And we'll see if they can continue to hold on to this lead over the next 40 minutes of play. And just a reminder, we do have the chat up and running, so we'll get to that in just a few moments. But first, there's a few other games that took place earlier today, and a couple of those games had implications on the Eastern Conference standings.
Yeah, it's always interesting with the Oshawa Generals on a Sunday because they're always the latest game. Everyone likes doing the afternoon games, and then the Generals are the closer. So every other game is done. It was the Sarnia Sting opening things up with a 3-1 victory over the Kingston Frontenacs. Tough one there for Kingston, only 15 shots. Our buddy Ben Pickle with a goal. Ottawa, we mentioned Ottawa earlier. They picked up a 6-4 victory over the Sudbury Wolves to get back in the win column and now be 7 points ahead of Barrie. So are the Brantford Bulldogs after a 7-3 win. They started out a bit slow in that game, but Caleb Malhotra getting a goal in the final second of the first period tied that game, and Brantford took off from there.
So with Brantford and Ottawa both winning, they're now 7 points up on the Barrie Colts at this time. So, of course, if the Barrie Colts can get the 2 points here in Oshawa tonight, then they'll be still within 5 of first place in the Eastern Conference standings. Now, let's take a look at the chat. Earlier, we saw that Liam was talking about how he was at the game last night, was impressed with what he saw. Kind of feels like it's a cheat mode right now with the Barrie Colts, the way they're playing.
Yeah, it's been a really good weekend for the Barrie Colts. 11, well, now 13 goals over the last 3 games. And outside of a small stretch there against the Guelph Storm, where they kind of slowed down a bit after taking that 5-1 lead, they've really not given up many opportunities. The Generals had a couple chances there in the first period, but Ben Arebic made good saves on all of them. And then last night, you saw after the Barrie Colts got out to a pretty big lead, they said, you know what, we're just going to shut it down from here. We don't need to score any more goals. We can still just shut it down defensively. They get outshot that period, but they don't let Brampton get any quality chances. And yeah, they've looked great, and really every forward line has looked good as well.
Now, both Tammy and Richard commenting on just the fans here in Oshawa and their dislike for Kayshawn Aitchison. And off the air, you and I were talking about it, how Kayshawn Aitchison is just that player that you hate to play against. But if he's on your team, you love him. He's probably one of your favorite players on the team. And I feel as though the Oshawa General faithful here would probably have a similar outlook on Kayshawn Aitchison if that was the case. Kind of reminds me of like a Brad Marchand type.
Yeah, it's everywhere you go. I mean, earlier this year, you saw Bulldogs fans, lots of boos on Aitchison whenever he would touch the puck. And, you know, the second the Barrie Colts said, hey, why don't, do you want Kayshawn Aitchison? They'd all jump up and be like, yes, please. We would love Kayshawn Aitchison.
And Mike saying, bad move going for it, in my honest opinion. Brantford will dominate. Not good now for the best 3 years. There will be a pain for Colts fans. So Mike suggesting that, maybe this maybe shouldn't have been the year that the Barrie Colts went all in.
Well, at the end of the day, the Barrie Colts, they're going to lose their 3 best players next season. Bodwin, Aitchison, and Hemming, they're going to the AHL. That's a reality. So why not go for it? I mean, they're going to be bad next year anyway. There's no point in focusing on the future right now. And when you think you got a shot, you should take it. And I mean, Brantford, you can say they're going to dominate the Barrie Colts just by looking at the first-round draft picks, but the Barrie Colts, they're 1-0 against the Brantford Bulldogs this year. So Brantford's still going to beat Barrie. I mean, it's going to be a tough series. He's continued. I don't know who he cheers for, but he's clearly not a big fan of the Barrie Colts. But yeah, I mean, Barrie Colts right now, they've contended with every team they've had to play that's a contender right now. I mean, they've beaten Brantford, they've beaten Ottawa, they've beaten Kitchener. They lost to Windsor in the second game of the season. They've yet to play Flint, and then they took the Sioux Greyhounds to shootouts both times. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Barrie Colts, they've proven they can beat these teams. They've proven they can contend with these teams. Why not go for it?
Well, the thing, too, is with the Barrie Colts being first in the Central Division, you don't want to just all of a sudden sell and be like, you know what? We're just going to let the Brantford Bulldogs or the Ottawa 67s run with it. You know, you want to play those games because there is that chance. Because being first in the Central Division, if you don't catch Brantford in the Eastern Conference standings, you'll have the second seed, which means you would avoid Brantford until the Eastern Conference final. And obviously, injuries can happen. That's where the depth is going to be important. Goaltending is going to be key. So I think for the Barrie Colts, they saw the fact that the Central Division wasn't really being challenged as much. The Niagara Ice Dogs ended up selling the North Bay Battalion. They're young. Sudbury and Brampton, bottom of the Central Division standing. So if, for the Barrie Colts, they saw an opportunity, they see a path that they could succeed here. And obviously next year is going to be something that's going to be different because you mentioned players are going to graduate. And that's the junior hockey cycle. It's going to take time for a team to, recoup picks and young prospects over time. But for this season, the Barrie Colts, they see an opportunity and they want to go for it.
And you know what, as well? I mean, Marty Williamson was able to look at this and trade only draft picks. None of the players that were coming back next season were traded. Sementsov, Edgar, Salandra, Emerton, Panzer, Perevic, Jaswal, all those guys are probably going to be back next season. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that the Barrie Colts are going to be the best team in the league next season because they held on to their young players, but it's not going to be as bad as it could have potentially been if they're trading all of this young talent away. They're going to be very young next year, and I think there's going to be growing pains, but they still should be able to put together a decent team next season.
And it's like the Guelph Storm right now, who are making moves to prepare for the Memorial Cup next year. You're not going to see everybody in the Western Conference next season just pack it in, because the Guelph Storm are going to be buyers. They're going to want to be the top team in the Ontario Hockey League. So it's going to be fascinating just even next year with how moves are going to take place. And that's just junior hockey. Everyone's got their competitive years and their down years. And you see that with the teams like the Oshawa Generals here. Back-to-back trips to the Eastern Conference Final, Eastern Conference champions. And now this season's the rebuild. And this is where in junior hockey, you recoup the picks, you get younger talent, you have those growing pains, but you're going to come out as a competitive team in the coming years.
Well, and the other thing as well, I think at the end of the day, it's sports. Like the number one team doesn't win every season. London last year, yeah, and then the 2 years before that, they were one of the better teams in the league, and they were winning. But the Peterborough Petes, a couple seasons ago, they were the 4 seed coming into the playoffs. They went on the big run, and they go and they win the OHL championship. Anything can happen when you get to the playoffs. A couple of years ago, the Windsor Spitfires, they go out, they trade for Shane Wright. They make the big deal. They're the best team. They're going to contend. They get swept round 1 by the Kitchener Rangers. I mean, you just never know. And at the end of the day, you can say that the Barrie Colts have no draft picks next year. What they give up? They gave up 3 second-round picks at this year's deadline. It wasn't like they gave up 20 million draft picks at the deadline. They were already going to be short on draft picks going into next season. And at the end of the day, they've got 3 first-round NHL draft picks. They've got Ben Horebic, who can steal games and steal a series for the Barrie Colts. So at the end of the day, I think the difference between Barrie and Brantford isn't big enough to say that the Barrie Colts should have sold off. I give advantage to the Brantford Bulldogs right now. They lead the Eastern Conference, and they are a really good team. And I'm not going to say on the record right now that I guarantee a Barrie Colts victory over the Brantford Bulldogs at all, but there's a ton of good that can come out of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, because as Gene Pereira has said many a time this season, once you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, once you get to the OHL Finals, you just never know what can happen. Now, it's going to come down to 7 games, and that's all. And if you steal a couple of games, and yes, I know I've been looking at the draft capital.
Well, the thing with the draft capital, yes, the Barrie Colts won't have as many picks for this coming
They're
draft,
going to get them back.
but they will get picks back next year. Because look at what the London Knights did at the trade deadline this year, selling off free agent players that they signed, and then like Ben Wilmot, he was a free agent signing, and they gained picks. So that's what's going to happen likely with the Barrie Colts next season. But it's going to be fascinating. Junior hockey is fun to follow, and yeah, we'll see what's in store. But the second period now underway back in Oshawa, where the Colts right now are up 2-0. Barrie will send this one deep into the Oshawa zone. That's rolling towards the net. That's going to be sent around. Griffin trying to get to that loose puck. Kept in by Zabeski at the point. Ends up behind the Oshawa net. Jaden Newton can't get a stick on it. Here's Desiderio in front of Zabeski. Over to Aitchison in front. He was trying to pass it. And that doesn't connect and ends up down low. Behind the net, picked up by Zabeski. Here's Passmore, shot, scores! What a release by Evan Passmore. And it's now 3-0 for the Barrie Colts.
Well, Evan Passmore, not known for the goal scoring, but he's been taking a couple shots over the last couple of games. And only his second goal of the season. He likes to play defense. He's not really known for the offense, but a couple good opportunities over the last couple of games. And then there as well, a nice shot. And the Barrie Colts have extended the lead to 3.
Yeah, as you mentioned, just 2 goals on the season for Evan Passmore. And we don't usually see him that low towards the net, but Evan Passmore taking his chance, goes for it, and it's now 3-0. Hemming along the boards, trying to send this one forward. Beaudoin can't get a stick on it. Moore chasing after it here for the Generals. Wilmot keeps it in. Up to Hemming. Emil Hemming gets by Moore from the corner in front. Stopped by Humphreys. Puck's loose. Trying to get to it was Beaudoin. Generals get it out. Skating this one forward, that's Harrison Franzen. Franzen sends it towards the goal. Hrebeck will play it. Knocked out of the air by Calto. Hanser, he'll find it. Up ahead to Wilmot. Sends it back behind the Barrie net. Hanser collecting it now for the Barrie Colts. He'll skate this one forward himself. Hanser up to Hemming. Hemming enters the zone, takes the hit from Frolov, and the Generals will clear it out. Parker Von Richter back to play it. Gives this one ahead to Wilmot. Wilmot to Hemming. Emil Hemming at center. We'll drop it back to Von Richter. Colts with it. Hanser up the wing. Gardner tips it in the zone, so no icing against Barrie. Back to play it here is Artem Frolov. Frolov sends it ahead to Sang. Sang puts that one off the glass, down the ice. And we got a delayed penalty call coming against the Barrie Colts.
It's going to be against the bench when Figliamani got hit into there. A couple of Colts players grabbed at him off the bench. So I think it's going to go against one of the players on the bench.
So it looks like Kayshawn Aitchison is going to be the player heading off to serve the penalty. Kayshawn Aitchison saying it wasn't me as he's skating into the penalty box.
Oh, now they've got it figured out.
Nope, Aitchison's going back.
Well, yeah, because I thought it was more closer to the middle, not...
Well, I saw the collision, but I didn't see the player being grabbed. Right now, Ian Rush, the referee, is trying to figure out who it was. Who's coming over the... Oh, it looks like Calvin Crombie. Looks like Crombie's also saying it wasn't me.
Well, Crombie was way down on that. Like, they grabbed someone from the one end of the bench, then they grabbed someone from the other end of the bench. I thought it was someone in the middle.
Well, I didn't see it happen. I just saw the collision, but either way, the Oshawa Generals get their first power play of the hockey game. Their power play right now, 11th at 19.7%, and Barrie's penalty kill sitting 9th at 79%. Scrambled draw. Generals get it back to the point. Posmus sends it across. Here's Moore. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Moore gets it again here for Oshawa. Back to Posmus. Posmus to Moore. Sends this one across. Getting a skate on it was Griffin. Moore gets it off the board. Sends this one across. After it is Eliasson. He's going to get this one down the ice. Posmus back to collect it now for the Oshawa Generals. He'll skate this one up. Posmus through the neutral zone. Passing this one over to Rogowski. Towards the net. That goes off Posmus. Ends up behind the net. Loose puck picked up by Hemming, and he's just going to put this one down the length of the ice. 1:15 remaining in the power play here for the Oshawa Generals. Both teams will make changes. Owen Griffin will skate it ahead. Griffin dropping it back to Franzen. Franzen drops it back to Posmus. Posmus carries this one in, sends this one around the boards. Rogowski on the far side can't handle that one. Colts can't get it out, kept in by Griffin. Here's Posmus. Back to Moore. Moore to Posmus. Posmus down low. Goes behind the Barrie net. In front, Franzen. His shot goes wide of the net. Generals still with it. Posmus back to the line. Griffin to Posmus. That pass taken away by the Colts. And Brad Gardner will send this one down the length of the ice. 33 seconds left in the penalty to Calvin Crombie. Generals move it out of their zone. Griffin drops it back to Hine. Puts that over to Griffin, or Frolov rather. He's going to dump it in. Hrebeck behind the net. Sends this one around the glass, and that's going to make contact, I believe, with the netting. And we'll get a whistle as there's just 17 seconds remaining in the power play for Oshawa.
They're celebrating the birthdays. I wonder if Maverick Bignell, turning 3 years old, is the guy we saw in the elevator earlier today. He was so excited to show us his sign.
Yeah, he was in the elevator in his stroller, and yeah, he pulled that sign out, and he had the biggest smile on his face.
Well, his mom wanted him to get the sign out, I think, just so
it was ready
to have it. And then he fires it out. He looks at us. He goes, "This is my sign."
Yeah, and his mom said he's been coming to games since he was 12 days old.
Oh,
that's just passion.
Oshawa is one of the loudest rinks when it comes to music and the horn.
The horn is the big one. If Oshawa gets a goal here, we're going to hear it. There's a shot from Bird Leitner, stopped there by Hrebeck. It's at the side of the net. Zabeski, he'll get it out to center ice. Zimmerman knocks this one down for the Generals. Power play has come to an end, so Oshawa 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Smirnov skates this one in. Backhand, stopped by Hrebeck. Thought about playing it, but decides to hold on as we're approaching the 4-minute mark of the second.
Well, good kill there by the Barrie Colts after a bit of an undisciplined situation there. So you get out of that. Now you're up 3-0 and didn't let Oshawa get back in the game there.
So we'll get the face-off here to the left of Ben Hrebeck. Shots right now favoring the Barrie Colts 14-11. As Cormier getting ready to take the draw here up against Carter Lowe. Or actually make that Jonah McCormick of the Barrie Colts. No, it's Lowe. That 5 and the 3 look very similar. So we'll do this face-off over again. Figlamani steps in now for Oshawa against Carter Lowe. Face-off won by the Colts. Aitchison there to pick it up for Barrie. He's going to skate it out. Aitchison through the neutral zone, carries this one in for Barrie. Aitchison has that one knocked off his stick. Blasick comes up with it, turns it over to Salandra. At the line, it's Carter Lowe, one-timer Aitchison, and he fires that one wide. Salandra back to Aitchison on the near side. Aitchison thought about shooting it, decides to pass. One-timer, that one's deflected. Salandra slapping the ice out of frustration as I think Blasick got his stick across in time.
Yeah, nice play by Blasick and great pass by Aitchison across the way to Salandra. It's a good look. It was interesting on that shift. I think some of the fans forgot they had to boo Aitchison when he got the puck at first.
Well, I'm wondering if the fans that start the booing are at the far right of the ice, so they couldn't tell it was Aitchison because he was coming at them. That's my theory.
We saw that the one time. Well, when they went to triple overtime, triple or double?
Yeah, it was triple overtime.
Yeah.
Yep.
And by the second overtime, some of them had kind of forgotten, but then he laid a hit, and then they were like, oh, wait,
there's the reminder.
You got to boo.
I'm glad we don't get triple overtime in regular season. I'm just throwing that out there. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. He has it in the corner for the Colts, trying to pass it in front. He is dumped. Big hit there from Lucas Moore. Generals get it to the line. Wilmot can't keep it in. Calto back to Franzen. He'll skate this one forward. Almost skated into his teammate. And the Colts will take it away. Aitchison flipping this one forward. That's knocked down by Moore. Ryan comes up with it. Near side, Lachon. He'll send that one up. Beaudoin got a stick on it. Parker Von Richter chips this one ahead. Beaudoin takes a bump. Ryan takes the shot. That's deflected over the net. Colts trying to get to it. Knocked down there was Emerton. Hemming sends it back to Von Richter. Von Richter, the former Steelhead, passes this to the middle. Wilmot trying to get a stick on it, but Lucas Moore, he disrupted that pass. Von Richter can't keep this one in. Bird Leitner's taken down. Fans want a penalty, none coming. Hanser passes this one over to Gardner, bats that one out of the air. Generals get it again. They're going to clear it. Out to center ice, it's Bird Leitner. Bird Leitner takes the shot. That misses the net. Far side, Radowski. Got a stick on it there. Hands are trying to play it. Bird Leitner, backhand pass in front to Griffin. He leaves it. There's the shot blocked in front. They jam at it, and the Colts are able to get it out. Calvin Crombie sends it down ice. Murnane will pick it up now for the Generals. He's going to skate it back behind his own net. We're approaching the 6-minute mark of the second period. Colts up 3-0. Murnane facing some pressure there. Gives it up to Frolov, former Ice Dog. Artem Frolov was in that Hoshi Wang trade at the deadline. As Sang fires, that's stopped by Hrebeck. Griffin behind the Barrie net. Comes back to the blue line, hits the brakes, looks to the net. Griffin still with it, waits, fires, stopped by Hrebeck. And despite some traffic in front, Hrebeck will hold on.
That Hoshi Wang trade, one of the more interesting deals of the trade deadline. We didn't really expect Niagara to be buyers, and then they go out, they add a couple defenders, and Tromiak and Wang, and Artem Frolov going back the other way. Slow start offensively with Niagara, but he's going to get a lot of playing time here with the Oshawa Generals. Currently on the top pairing today. And
well, we heard when Niagara came into town before the trade deadline about the possibility of Hoshi Wang being traded to the Ice Dogs. It kind of threw all of us in press row a little by surprise. But, you know, for Hoshi Wang, we saw him in the playoffs. He's got that size. Defensively, I think he's still trying to figure out his game, but still.
Well, then as well, it took until Thursday for the deal to actually happen. So you're kind of sitting all week, and it's like, hey, we heard about that. Is it not happening now? And then they go out and they get Chromiak, and you think, okay, maybe they've shifted over to Chromiak, but no, they decide to bring in two. That was something we talked about earlier in the season about Niagara. They really didn't have any offensive defensemen at all. They kind of rebuilt the defensive core, and none of the guys that stepped up to be a true number one defender. So now you get two guys like Chromiak and Wang that are going to provide a bit more offense on the back end, while also Chromiak being a shutdown defenseman. And for Haushi Wang, still trying to figure that out as well. Does have a commitment to Boston University next season, and it'll be interesting to see, does he go yet, or does he maybe say, you know what, maybe I'm not ready for that. I'll come back for another year with the Ice Dogs.
Yeah, it's such an interesting dynamic now, especially with the NCAA situation. Just trying to figure out, okay, who's staying next season? Where are you going to play next year? So that's just another element that a lot of general managers have to figure out as they go along. Now that the trade deadline's passed, they're starting to figure, okay, who's going to be where next season when it comes to those commitments. Colts right now moving it through center ice. That's Sebaski. Sebaski on his backhand towards Crombie. That's blocked. Ends up in the corner. Gardner collecting it now for the Barrie Colts. Back to Sebaski. Sebaski keeps this one in. His shot blocked by Sang. Sang's knocked down. Play continues. Sebaski sends it ahead. Frolov gets a skate on it. Far side. Postumus. They'll find it here for Oshawa. Takes the shot. Stopped by Horebic. Rebound picked up by Brad Gardner. He's going to skate it out for the Colts. Gardner sends this one deep into the near corner. Gardner comes around the Oshawa net, back to the blue line. Emerton waits, fires. That's deflected wide in the net. Desiderio after the loose puck. He'll drop this one back to Crombie. Calvin Crombie, he loses it. Frolov behind his own net. Up to Postumus. He'll get it out. Chasing after it here is Tyler Hind. That's taken away by Kayshawn Aitchison. He's going to fire this one around the boards. Passmore comes back after it. Ties up Calto. Hind fans on the shot attempt. Passmore off the boards. Hind in the way. He'll put that one wide of the net. Bird Leitner chasing after it here for Oshawa. Franson, he's tied up by Passmore. That's dug free by Jaden Newton. Newton gets this one out for the Barrie Colts through center. He'll dump this one on net. Humphreys gets a glove on it. And he's going to hold on with 12-11 remaining here in the second period.
Mario Pouliot in his first season as head coach of the Oshawa Generals. That's one thing the Generals haven't really been able to keep around is head coaches. It's their fourth head coach in the last 3 seasons. Derek Blackstall coached the team a couple years ago that went to the finals and lost to London. Then he moved on to the AHL. They bring in Steve O'Rourke from the assistant role up to head coach, and then solid start to the season, but they didn't really like how the defensive systems were looking. They decide to fire him, and then it's Brad Malone, the former NHLer, coming in and taking over last year for a bit, and then he gets an AHL role, which led to Pouliot coming in now.
Well, Pouliot was also brought in as an assistant coach last season, just before the playoffs. He has that experience with the QMJHL where he's won a couple of Memorial Cups.
That was kind of the thinking after Malone left, was that, Pouliot did have a lot of say down the stretch and helping out Malone, who was in his first season as a head coach and kind of just got fired into that role right out of retirement.
Colts move this one through the neutral zone. It's Bodwen to Hemming. Hemming lost the handle of that. That was knocked away by Cormier. Puck's in the corner. Frolov comes up with it. He'll skate it behind his own net. Colts right now making a line change as Artem Frolov passes it ahead. Sang sends this one deep. Hanser behind his own net. Catches up to it. Up ahead to Hemming. Emil Hemming. Up to Wilmot. Wilmot. Up to Schneid. Schneid from the corner. Takes the shot. Humphreys got a piece of it. Salandra off the bench. Takes the shot. That's going to go over the net. Ends up in the corner. Schneid takes a hard hit there from Sang. Loose puck, Salandra. He's going to go around the Oshawa net. In front. What a save by Humphreys. He robs Carter Lowe point blank. Lowe gets it again. In front. Schneid can't settle it down. Blocked there by Frolov, and the Generals will move it ahead. Cormier at center. Carter Lowe trying to knock it off his stick, but in the process ends up being an offside call against Oshawa.
Well, that felt like a replay of that big save on Calvin Crombie in the first period. Nice pass out front from Salandra. Comes from behind the net, puts it out front for Lowe on the one-timer, and Humphreys sliding across, makes a nice glove save. Pretty much the same save on Crombie. Passmore goes behind the net, puts it out front for the one-timer, and Humphreys sprawls out to make the save.
Yeah, that save was incredible by Matthew Humphreys. As it remains 3-0 for the Barrie Colts. We're approaching the midway point of the hockey game. As this goes back into the Barrie zone, it's Cole Emerton up the wing. Salandra chips this one deep. Zimmerman back to play it now for Oshawa. Zimmerman passes this one up to Smirnov. He'll get this one out. Posimus dumps it in. Horebek's going to come out of his net to play it. Horebek dropping it back to Emerton. Blasig winds up. His shot wide, but he was run over by Calvin Crombie. What a hit. Loose puck. Gardner has it. Crombie's with him. Gardner to the net. Forehand stopped by Humphreys. Nice save there again by the Oshawa goaltender, keeping the Generals in this one. Crombie fires, and that goes wide. Emerton on the near side. Trying to go back to the point. He's bumped off the puck by Griffin. He'll send it head to Smirnov. 2-on-1 here. 3-on-1 for Oshawa. A cross shot. An outstanding save by Ben Horebek. He just did the Superman. He dove across and snagged that one out of the air. Did that just happen?
I couldn't believe that. Matthew Humphreys with those huge saves a minute ago, and he just got outclassed by Ben Horebek. I think you can end the OHL save of the night replays because Ben Horebek just won it right there. What a save on Posthumous. He couldn't believe it. Aitchison couldn't believe it. And oh man, if you weren't able to see that because you're watching our stream and not watching anything with Flow, you got to go online and find that one.
That save's going to be on social media. That could even be on like the main networks.
It's probably already on there.
Holy cow. That was amazing. Now the game continues. The Generals send it deep. Passmore back to play it behind his own net. Hine digs that one free. Colts get to it. Delayed penalty against Barrie. It's going to be a trip as Frolov comes back to play it. That's deflected. McCormick firing at that empty net. And Calto's going to come talk to him about it. You know, you've got to be careful here if you're Calto because your team's about to go on the power play. You don't need to take a penalty. Although I'm sure that's what McCormick was thinking.
I think that may have been the plan there from Jonah McCormick. Going to be Aitchison going to the box for a trip right out front of the net. Oshawa getting their second power play here in the period to try and get back in this game and make it a 2-goal game.
So this is going to be the second power play of the night for the Oshawa Generals. With 9:05 remaining in this second period, just a few moments ago, we just saw maybe the save of the year from Ben Horebek. And we'll see what the Oshawa Generals can do this time around as Franzen takes the draw. Won by Oshawa. Here's Posthumous at the point. Posthumous takes the shot, blocked by Bodwen. Moore gets it in the corner. Lucas Moore. They'll send it back to Posthumous at the point. Back to Moore. Moore down low. Generals moving it around. It's Rogowski. Comes out from the corner. Back to Posthumous. Far side Griffin. Griffin drops back to Posthumous. One-timer. That goes wide of the net. Passmore ahead here for Cole Bodwen. Bodwen skates it out shorthanded. He'll dump it in. Hemming was there with him, but that was out of his reach. Generals get this one out to center ice. Von Richter sending it back to Hanser. That doesn't connect. Hanser just slams this one down the ice as the Colts will make some adjustments to the penalty kill unit. 1:15 remaining in this power play for Oshawa. Posthumous will skate this one up for Oshawa. Wants to drop it back. He had Gardner in the way. Finds Griffin. Here's Franzen. He'll skate this one up. Lucas Moore. Pass is deflected. Colts with it. They're going to send this one down the length of the ice. Humphreys out of his net to play it. 54 seconds left in the penalty to Aitchison. Generals move it up. Posthumous reaches center here for Oshawa. Up to Moore. Moore back to Posthumous. He'll turn this one around in the corner. Looks to the net. Goes to Moore. Puts it off the official. Rogowski sends it around. Griffin on the far side. Griffin towards the net. He'll peel back. Owen Griffin from the half board stays with it. Power play down to 28 seconds. Posthumous at the point. Back to Griffin. Griffin waits. Behind the back to Posthumous. One-timer stop. Rebound in front. Horebek is sprawled out. Colts get it to the boards. Not out. Posthumous near side for Moore. Moore can't settle it down. Now he'll send it down to Rogowski in the corner across the blue paint. Griffin wasn't ready for it. Owen Griffin has it in his skates. Looking at his options. Continues to move around there. Aitchison about to come out of the box. Wilmot will clear it. Here comes Aitchison out of the box. Skating after it. The power play has come to an end. Kayshawn Aitchison behind the net tries to lift it Almost did the lacrosse move across to Newton, but that pass doesn't connect. Now it's a 2-on-1 the other way for Oshawa. Cormier on the wing. Cormier takes the shot, misses that far post. Puck will escape the zone. Possumus to Frolov. Artem Frolov skates it in here for Oshawa, taken away by Emerton. Colts move this one ahead. 2-on-1 now for the Colts. Carter Lowe's got Salandra. Across Salandra, misses the net. What a chance there for Joe Salandra as this play goes back and forth. Generals moving up. Here's Figlinemi. He turns it over, gave that to Carter Lowe, across to Salandra. Salandra's got Schneid going to the net. Schneid takes the shot, hits the side of the goal. Frolov behind his own net. Colts with it. They keep it at the point. There's a deflection by Schneid. He's knocked down. Ends up in the corner. Frolov trying to play it. Carter Lowe digs for it. Ends up falling down. Frolov kicks it forward. Murnane sends it behind his own net. Figlimeni in the corner takes a hit there from Salandra. Figlimeni loses it to Schneid. Loose puck picked up by Sang. Sang across to Frolov as the Generals move it up. Under 6 minutes now remaining in the second period. Puck's down low. Murnane in front. Turned aside by Schneid. And the Colts moving out. Crombie gives us to Zabeski on the wing. Mason Zabeski drops it to Crombie. His shot off the post. Calvin Crombie strikes iron. Colts just stepping it up a notch here as Crombie delivers a hit. Blessig, he is slow. He's going to skate off. Play continues, no penalty. Calto avoids the hit from Aitchison. Franzen from the corner. Trying to play it. Takes the shot. Scored! I'm just going to wait for that horn to stop. But anyways, Franzen fires it. Calto somehow in the crease. He's able to deflect it, and it's now 3-1.
Calto had his stick tied up by Kayshawn Aitchison. They're not sure how he gets a piece of it, but Franzen waiting in the corner sends it to the net, and it deflects in, and the Oshawa Generals make it a 3-1 game. Our Barrie Colts were firing on all cylinders just a minute before that. A couple of great chances. First, it was Salandra just missing the net, then Crombie off the post, but Oshawa goes back the other way, and now it's a 2-goal game.
So for Oni Calto, that's 6 goals on the season. As the Generals, they're in this one, now down by 2, 5:12 left to go in the second period. That puck's going to go deep behind the net. Humphreys thought it was going to be icing. Play continues. Crombie takes it away in the corner. Colts trying to move this one around. Crombie. They get it out of the skate there of Murnane. Kept it at the point by Gardner. Sends it across into the slot. Picked off by Griffin. Owen Griffin will send this one on net. Harevik decides to play it. Behind the net for Vaughn Richter. Gardner gave that one away to Griffin. Colts get it right back. Gardner ahead for Crombie. Skates through the neutral zone. Crombie flips this one to the corner. Lachon, he's taken to the boards by Gardner. Generals trying to move this one out. Griffin skated right into Wilmot. Now the Generals get it back into the Barrie zone where it's picked up by Emerton. Gabriel Eliason back in his own zone. Up to Emil Hemming at the blue line. Hemming skates this one through the neutral zone. Weaves his way into the Oshawa zone. He's knocked over. Puck goes behind the Oshawa net. Wilmot, far side, sends it back behind the Oshawa net. Cole Emerton's going to come off the point. Generals, though, get it out. Here's Cormier on the near side. Smirnov trying to corral that bouncing puck. Takes the shot. Stopped by Harevik. Cole Beaudoin gets to the rebound. He's taken to the boards by Smirnov. Emerton behind his own net. Up to Hemming. Emil Hemming will skate this one forward for the Colts. That goes off Cormier. Emerton inside the blue line. Drops it back to Eliason. Gabriel Eliason reaches center. Sends us on goal. Humphreys guides that to the corner. Eliason trying to go after it. Smirnov can't get it out. Here's Emil Hemming. Takes the shot. Moore blocks that one. And that's going to go into the netting and out of play with 3:33 still to play in this second period.
The Generals getting on the board there, making it 3-1. And Colts now, obviously, 3:33 to go. You want to get through the next 3 minutes here. Keep it at a 3-1 game. Don't let them get another goal going into the break.
Well, it's just a lot of back and forth play there just a few moments ago, and that just seemed to catch the Barrie Colts a little bit because as they were going end to end. You had a 2-on-1 rush one way for Oshawa and then 2-on-1 the other. It was just eventually the Oshawa Generals able to take advantage of that. As you can't count on Hrebic, I guess, to be Superman every time with his goaltending.
He can't make every save, obviously, and yeah, for the Barrie Colts, obviously, good period so far, and maybe they just got caught a little bit there with all the rushes, like you mentioned, and gave the Generals some numbers back the other way.
So right now, Oshawa being outshot 21-18 by the Barrie Colts. And they're going to bring this faceoff back into the Oshawa zone. Jaden Newton set to take the draw up against Harrison Franzen. As everyone gets into position, and we'll continue this second period. It's been an exciting and entertaining second frame. There's just something when these two teams go head to head. Face off, won by the Generals. They're going to get this one out. Hein sends this one in. Calto chases after it, has it in the corner. Ends up going around the Barrie net. Calto still with it. Ani Calto lost the possession there. Ends up in the neutral zone. He's going to go back all the way to his own end. Franzen knocks it up to Hein. Hein, he'll dump that one in. Ends up back behind the Barrie net. Passmore there to play it. Sends this one over to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison flips this one ahead. Puck's bouncing. Knocked down there by Vlasic. Good to see Vlasic back out there. Generals with it. Vlasic follows this one up. He'll carry it in. Gives it to Griffin. Griffin hits the brakes, peels back, sends this one back to the line. Rogowski couldn't handle it. Vlasic along the boards. Drops this one back. Rogowski loses it to Passmore. Back to the corner it goes. In front. Leitner hits the crossbar. That one's going to go into the netting and out of play, but what a shot. Porter Berg Leitner got a great opportunity.
Yeah, great look there for Berg Leitner playing on the top line with Griffin and Rogowski. Was open in the slot there, but off the bar and out of play.
So the Generals are getting their chances. And I know when you look at the standings, Oshawa being at the bottom, but you can't take a team like this lightly. They are well coached by Mario Pouliot. And this is a team desperate to snap that 11-game losing streak.
When you get to a losing streak that deep into it, you're kind of due for a win at some point.
Colts get it out. Salandra up to Schneid. Schneid will send this one deep. Humphreys out of his net to play it. He'll send this one around. Berg Leitner can't settle it down. Slant towards the nets, and Humphreys will cover it up. He had Carter Lowe going to the net. Murnane taking some exception there. But the linesman will separate those two. We also have Slandra and Rogowski. Slandra continues to get under the skin of the opponents.
Well, it seems like every time he's out there on the ice, someone's getting into it with him. Him and Carter Lowe had some chemistry tonight. They've had some good looks here in the second period.
So the linesman still trying to direct traffic there for Oshawa. Now they're going to make a late line change. 2:20 left in the period. They're going to bring the faceoff to the left of Matthew Humphreys. Schneid getting ready to take the draw here for the Colts up against Owen Griffin. Big faceoff here. Scrambled draw, won by Oshawa. Frolov goes back behind his own net. Frolov up to Murnane. Murnane sends us up the middle. Von Richter got a stick on it. Griffin to Postumus. One-timer stole. The overager for the Oshawa Generals fires the one-timer, and Oshawa, they're now within one.
Well, we mentioned it earlier that ignore the records. The Generals are going to continue to fight. This one hits off of Von Richter, then deflects off Hanser. Back into General possession. Von Richter tips it with his stick, and then Hanser tries to glove it and can't, and that sets up a 2-on-1. Griffin sends it across. A nice one-timer by Postumus. It's 3-2.
So Luke Postumus getting his 9th goal of the season. Yep, they're going to review this one. I wonder if they're going to look at maybe the offside, the zone entry.
It's the only thing I can think of.
So did the Barrie Colts challenge this right away?
Looks like it. The official was over there, and then he came back and gave the review sign.
So if they're challenging it and it's not successful, then the Barrie Colts will be shorthanded. We're seeing it on the Jumbotron here.
Well, he's offside.
Oh, that's offside. But it did go off Hanser, though.
That's true.
So if it went off Hanser before entering the zone, Well, we'll have to wait and see here. The linesman right now taking a look at it, Joe Kilbowich and Hunter Gasper.
He's definitely offside there, and then but his hands are
Because
get it.
Yeah, because it looks like the puck went off Justin Hanser at the blue line. So it's going to come down to when did the puck hit Hanser? Was it before it entered the zone or after? Because the general player, from what we can see, was offside, but it's going to come down to the puck hitting Justin Hanser. So we're taking another look at it here. Because it hits Von Richter in the neutral zone first, and then the glove of Hanser.
And he's skating over the blue line kind of coincidingly when.
So we'll have to wait and see here. It was a double deflection. So first off, Von Richter in the neutral zone before Justin Hanser. Just that reaction, the reflexes. He just went to go reach for it.
Obviously, as well, it's hard for us to kind of form a correct opinion because the only angles we get are the in-house feed for Oshawa, whereas these officials have cameras that are designated for these types of situations. So I'm sure they have a different angle. And of course, on that tablet, you can see they can zoom in and zoom out.
Yeah. I think this is the best vantage point we've had of the tablet. Because here in Oshawa, we're in the rafters for the press box. So we're right above the timekeeper's area. So we're going to get a decision here. They're putting the tablet back. No goal. So they're going to say he was offside. So the Barrie Colts dodging a bullet. It's now it's still 3-1.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell on those the two angles we got if Hanser was over the blue line or not. But obviously they're so zoomed in that you can clearly tell where the skate is, where it hits. It's also, with how far away those camera angles were, it's hard to see that very small puck on the dark blue gloves of the Barrie Colts.
So it's an offside call against Oshawa, so it remains 3-1 for the Barrie Colts, 2:12 remaining in the second period, although the linesman back on the headset. I wonder if they're just trying to make sure they have the correct time on the board.
Yeah, the timekeeper was ringing the buzzer there.
So the linesman looks like he's going back on the headset, maybe. They've got the tablet there again. All right, now they're going to put it away. So I think we are good to go. 2:12 is what they have on the scoreboard. So face off outside the Barrie Colts blue line. Mason Zabeski taking the draw here against Harrison Franzen. Well, we're just waiting for the thumbs up. We got the thumbs up from the timekeeper so we can get play back underway. So here we go. Second period continuing here. Won by Oshawa. Murnane dumps this one in. Off the end boards. Hein goes after it. Said stopped by Harebic. Puck goes to the corner as Oshawa just continues to put on the pressure. Hein drops it back to Calto. Stopped by Harebic. Got the blocker on it. Frolov keeps it in at the blue line. Sends this one ahead. Colts can't get to it. Backhand pass. Hein has it knocked away by Passmore. Generals get it again. Calto loses it. Gives it up to Mason Zabeski. He's going to skate this one out to center. Zabeski taken into the boards. Colts sent this one deep. Frolov there to play it. Gardner nearly took it away. Generals move it up. Franzen dumping this one in for Oshawa. That's going to go back behind the Barrie net. Generals make a line change. Troll Emberton up the wing. Crombie stopped there by Moore. Two former teammates, both playing with the Brantford Bulldogs before. Possumus, backhand pass, blocked by Emberton. Emberton's going to send this one down the ice. Icing is waved off. That rolls right on nets, and Humphreys decides to cover it up as gets a bit of a snow shower there from Ben Wilmot.
Well, a couple more chances there for the Oshawa Generals. They can continue to fight. I think this is one of the best things to be a part of as a fan base. I mean, obviously, the first thing you want is for your team to win, but when you're in that rebuilding stage, it's always fun when it's a team that's likable and fun to watch, and they make things competitive. It's kind of similar to 2 years ago with that Barrie Colts team. They lost a lot of games, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah, you just want to see your team put in an honest effort night in, night out. And we are seeing that from this Oshawa Generals team as that puck goes out of play, and we'll do this face-off over again.
I mean, you look back 2 years ago on that Barrie Colts team. I mean, the Sadlin Arena down the stretch run it was close to a sellout every night because the Barrie Colts were putting in such a good effort that it was fun to watch. So you get some teams that get into that rebuild and they're losing every night 5-6-1, and it's not fun.
Parker Von Richter releasing that shot right off the draw as Humphreys will hold on. So we'll try this face-off again. 1:02 now remaining in this second period. As right now the Colts just trying to turn the momentum as Oshawa has really picked things up here in this second period. Cole Beaudoin set to take the draw. Trying to kick this one back. It's to Von Richter at the point. Takes the shots. Humphreys again with that glove save. As the Colts are getting the puck off the draw, but those shots are going right into the glove of Matthew Humphreys.
A couple shots there from Von Richter, and he's not afraid to shoot it. He's 5th in the OHL in shots among defensemen this season. So Colts now between him and Aitchison have 2 guys up there in the top 5.
We're going to do this face-off over again as both Rogowski and Beaudoin ended up tumbling. And you mentioned Von Richter and Aitchison known for their shots. They're both out there right now at the point. As Beaudoin gets set to take draw against Rogowski, won this time by the Generals. Moore puts it behind his own net. Oshawa sending this one ahead. Posthumus sends it deep. Parker Von Richter back to play it here for the Colts. Up ahead to Posthumus. Posthumus can't hold on to that one. Wilmot across to Cole Beaudoin. 40 seconds left. Beaudoin, he's going to charge into the zone. Hits the brakes, generates some room. Beaudoin dropping it back to Wilmot. Puck bounced on him. Beaudoin takes the shots, and Humphreys makes the save. Had some traffic in front with Emil Hemming, but still able to make the save.
It'll be interesting to see down the stretch with the defense for the Barrie Colts. I mean, you got Aitchison and Von Richter together right now, and those are 2 guys that are going to eat minutes up. They can play 30 minutes a night, so right now, obviously, Aitchison playing with Passmore, but maybe when it gets to playoff season, you're going to see Aitchison and Von Richter together a lot more. Kind of similar to what we saw with Aitchison and Tristan Bertucci. One of them, both left-handed shots, but one of them took the right-hand side so they could play more minutes.
So Jaden Newton, he's going to be tossed out of the face-off dot against Franzen, so in steps Carter Lowe. Face-off to the right of Humphreys. Face-off won by the Generals. Again, sending it around the boards. Aitchison can't keep it in at the blue line. Puck rolls down into the Barrie zone. Parker Von Richter behind his own net. Being chased there by Calto. Colts get it out. Down into the Oshawa zone. Icing waved off. 15 seconds remaining in the period. Frolov, his pass deflected right to Salandra. Backhand, and that goes wide of the net. Joe Salandra nearly given a gift in front of the Oshawa net. Generals trying to get it out. Newton fire stop. Rebound. Again stopped by Humphreys. He robbed Carter Lowe. That's the second time that Lowe has been denied point blank by Humphreys.
A couple great chances there. The puck goes up the boards. Newton keeps it in, sends it to the net. Humphreys makes the initial save, and then Carter Lowe wide open for the rebound. General's defense kind of forgot about him there. Mirne went up the wing and didn't cover Lowe, and he had flown out front.
They got 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Surprised the Colts won't pull the goaltender here. Dylan Smoskowitz right now having a conversation with Ian Rush, the official. Colts load up in front of the net on this faceoff. Gardner is going to take the draw. And that's going to go to the corner. I think they could have pulled the goalie there, make things a little interesting.
Yeah.
We saw Barney do that with the Sudbury Wolves. Oh, now we're getting pushing and shoving as players go off the ice. Franzen and Von Richter meet.
They're just hugging.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, the officials just trying to keep everybody separated in the neutral zone. Everybody's on the ice right now. Referee's just telling them to get off. But it's amazing how 2 organizations can meet in the playoffs in back-to-back years, and it just sparks a rivalry such as this.
Well, not only Barrie and Oshawa, but Mason Zabeski and Parker Von Richter, they played against the Oshawa Generals in round 1 last season, so
That's true too.
They're familiar with them. And then Ben Wilmot, he didn't play on London last season, but he was a member of the Knights this year. They've already done their 2 games with Oshawa, so I'm sure those 2 games were pretty physical as well. So all 3 of the Barrie Colts new additions probably pretty familiar with the Oshawa Generals.
Yeah, and the Oshawa Generals, they've been that team that has been tough to beat the last 2 seasons, and it's a proud organization. We've talked about it. You've got Franzen and Rogowski, who are a part of the team, and Griffin last year. So they're the 3 players rather that obviously are quite familiar with the Barrie Colts, and I think it just adds to the excitement of this game. And it's hard to believe this is our first trip to Oshawa since that conference final, and we're now in the month of January.
You know, it's funny as well, like the seasons always seem to fly by. Like it feels like just yesterday we were here. And
Yeah.
even though it's been so long, and these two teams only one meeting so far this year. That was way back early October. The Barrie Colts played the Generals, and after this, they'll take a big long break of 6 days. The Oshawa Generals are in town next weekend for a matchup with the Colts, but then after that, we don't come back till March, so another big gap, and then we'll have to see if the Generals can maybe make a push towards that 8th seed. They're 11 points out right now, but you just never know.
Yeah, if a team can get hot, and then, of course, the teams ahead of them selling at the deadline, so you just never know. But that's the joys of junior hockey. So it's the second intermission. The Barrie Colts right now up 3-1 as we're going to have Terry Doyle and the OHL news. So Josh and I can have a bit of a breather, and maybe we'll have some water, and we'll let the chat settle the argument between Coke and Pepsi. How's that sound?
No comment.
Joined by Colts defenseman.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of OHL News. This week, we focus on David Branch. The former OHL commissioner passed away on Sunday at the age of 77. He was the OHL commissioner for 45 years and also served as CHL president for decades as well. Over the next few minutes, you are going to hear from people who were very close to David Branch during his time in the OHL. These were tributes delivered upon his retirement. We start out with the man who was beside David Branch for 35 years, retired Vice President of the OHL, Ted Baker.
I've heard the great leaders don't lead by what's written on a piece of paper. They lead with their heart. And Dave has been the heart and soul of our league for 45 years, and of our office and staff for 45 years. I wanted to express to you, Dave, the appreciation of all staff, past and present, who have had the opportunity of working with you and for you throughout the years. Dave always ensured that family came first, and that any family matter or extracurricular activity that a staff member may be involved in was supported and encouraged. His empathy to staff needs was always present while recognizing the 24/7 nature of our business. Dave also liked to have fun and sometimes poke fun, but don't misunderstand, it was not a country club. The expectations and demands on all of us to ensure that the needs of our teams and players were being met with daily was respectfully relentless. Initiative, passion, attention to detail, timing, and respect were a hallmark of Dave's credo to all staff. Our teams, our players, and all of our staff tasked with supporting league initiatives were the better for it as a result. Dave, on behalf of all staff, thank you for your leadership, your guidance, mentorship, and especially from my perspective, friendship. Thank you.
Soo Greyhounds Governor Tim Lukenda is the chairman of the OHL's Board of Governors.
Dave went on to a long and successful tenure as the commissioner and had a lasting impact on the game as we know it. Dave has been a leader in all facets of the game, but especially when it comes to the development and care and well-being of the players in our league. The Emperor Napoleon was credited with espousing the wisdom that the best leaders have to rule with an iron fist in a velvet glove. I think we would all agree that this aptly describes Dave Branch's management style. Anyone who did anything that in the commissioner's eyes represented conduct detrimental to the best interests of our league or the game of hockey surely experienced the iron fist. But at the same time, those who got to know Dave really saw the velvet glove with the way he approached the issues of great concern to him. His passion for player safety and the player experience came through in everything he did, and our league implemented under his leadership progressive changes in a number of areas, including education, concussion protocols, mental health programming, and support, among others. What will stick with me the most is the professional way in which Dave approached all of his interactions with others in his role, and his enduring passion for the league and for the game of hockey. Someone once said that the measure of success is to have laughed often, to win the respect of others and the appreciation of our honest critics, to find the best in others, and to leave things better than when you started. To me, this perfectly describes the long and successful tenure of Dave Branch as Commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League.
Longtime Peterborough Pete's Governor Dr. Bob Neville worked with David Branch for more than 30 years.
I hope I can maybe shed some light on some things that aren't necessarily about hockey, because I've known David for almost 30 years. It's been a friendship that I cherish at the top. It's been just a privilege to know David. You know, you heard some amazing things about what a leader he is. You heard about the fact from Chairman Tim about his strength, but also his sensitivity. David didn't forget his family. His father died, and he had a sister who was born 16 years after David, his only sibling. And she had some serious health issues. As they got older, she lived ongoing with her mother. Unfortunately, I remember going to your mom's funeral a long time ago, but your sister obviously survived her. But she wasn't really capable of just being out there and just doing everything on her own well. David has looked after her extraordinarily well. Unfortunately, she took more health issues. David made sure that she was looked after well, and eventually in long-term care. And I know nurses who commented about David coming and visiting his sister until she passed away a few years ago. But David also had the sense of family. You know, David means a lot to a lot of us. Rick Gates, who just talked here, he and I both appreciate David in a special way. I had cancer 8 years ago. I'm still here talking about it. My friend Rick, my good friend Rick, he's a one-year survivor. But you know how we got through it? David Branch was a big part of it. His support for us, telling us, we're going to get there. We're going to win. You know, it brings tears to my eyes. It's that special. And you know, it wasn't just us. I mean, we lost Pat Casey last year to prostate cancer. Dave was there. He had gone and saw Pat even in his last days. Didn't end there. Stella, his widow, received support personally from Dave. Dave was also with Ted at the funeral. We represent probably 1/100th of the people that Dave supported through his life. And we have no knowledge about who they are, but we know that he did that. And so this is a really special man. The fabric this man has is incredible.
The voices you've heard over the last few minutes are those of many paying tribute to David Branch, the retired OHL commissioner who we lost last weekend. That will do it for our show this week. Thanks for listening. I'm Terry Doyle.
It's the second intermission here between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals here at the Tributes Community Center. The blimp continuing to make its laps here at the arena. That's one thing that stands out about Oshawa is their inflatable blimp. And I wish they'd let us fly the blimp.
I would love to fly the blimp. I'd love to be like in the blimp.
Well, it's not that big of a blimp, but they need one of those in Barrie.
Trying to say.
I'm sorry. Anyways, back to our regular programming. We do have the chat up and running here, so if you want to take part in the conversations, you can do so there. It was a passionate conversation in the first intermission, so we'll see what's in store here this time around. But before we get to that, a couple of big games impacting the Barrie Colts earlier today.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about the chat, I think that's the best thing about the chat is we're actually able to connect with these people and have those interesting debates because not everyone agrees with what we have to say, and we're not going to agree with what everyone else has to say, and it creates some interesting debates. But like you mentioned, the Ottawa 67s and Brantford Bulldogs in action earlier today. Ottawa picking up a 6-4 win over Sudbury to break up their 3-game losing streak, and then the Brantford Bulldogs with 3 in the second and 3 in the third to win that game 7-3 over Winter. So as of right now, Brantford and Ottawa 7 points up on the Barrie Colts, and if the Colts can hold on to this game, of course, it would be 5 points, and that 1 seed just feels so big because it would get you home ice through the rest of the playoffs. And for the Barrie Colts, you look at Brantford and you look at all the talent on that team. Same with Ottawa. They're a really talented team. They're not going to score a ton of goals, but they do a good job at shutting you down. Dave Cameron plays a very defensive style. Getting that 1 seed against top tier teams, that's what it could come down to is who has that extra home game. You look at the second round last season, Colts beating Kingston 4-3, and it was 4 wins at home for Barrie, 3 wins at home for Kingston.
Yeah, and at one point it seemed as though the gap between first in the East Division and first in the Central just was too big of a hill to climb. But the Barrie Colts right now riding that 6-game point streak. They've been one of the top teams in the Ontario Hockey League when you look at the points percentage since November 1st. Is that the stat you dropped last night?
Yeah, that was an 804 win percentage going into last night since November 1st. Ottawa was at 800, and then Brantford was at 720, I believe. So they're all pretty close, and it'll be interesting to see down the stretch. And you got to keep in mind as well, Brantford and Ottawa, they play in the same division. I don't know the exact number, but I'm sure they still have a few more games against each other. And then the Colts, they got 2 more against Ottawa, 3 more against the Brantford Bulldogs, including later this month. We head down to Brantford. So 5 points, if the Barrie Colts can get it to that's not a big differential, especially when you play against those teams. And if the Barrie Colts can win those games against the Bulldogs and the 67s, it gets a whole lot closer.
Yeah, so we'll see what's in store there as we're in this final push now towards the 2026 OHL postseason. Now, Tammy said, you said something about free fries. I miss when Barrie got 5 goals and we won free wings. They should hook up with Wild Wings so we can get back our free wings. You know what, Tammy? If you can get free wings, I support it because there's something special about when you get free food. I know I'm in broadcasting. I accept all free things. But there's something, special about the 5 goals free wings. So it'd be great if they saw that promotion return to the Barrie Colts. But you also point out they had one, but it kept getting stuck in the big net. And I think you're referencing the inflatable blimp. I don't remember it in Barrie, but I could see that being a problem with the netting.
Young for that one. I don't really remember the blimp, but yeah, it's fun having the blimp and watching it go all around. And I do remember the 5 free wings.
I do too. I remember that.
I am old enough to remember the wings. I'm not that young, but yeah, it was fun always to watch. And, one thing I remember growing up is as well, the public address announcer would always say, and Colts fans, that's goal number 3. Just remember 5-3. And everyone would get so excited. They're so closer to wings. And, down the stretch in a game, it's 4-3 and everyone's getting super excited. Oh, we want wings. And yeah, I'll take any kind of wings. I'll pay for wings. I'll take free wings as well. And had some wings last night after the game. And
there you go. Now, see, for this broadcast, we are still looking for sponsors.
Yeah.
So if there's someone who's tuning in that, runs a business and you want to have a promotion through the channel, through the broadcast, you can get a hold of us. And then maybe we could start I think it'd be fun if we had giveaways and
Yeah,
stuff
no,
here
like
on the
5
channel.
goals on the road, and
And then we get free wings.
free wings,
whatever.
a free toque.
So many
There's
options.
so many things.
So Tammy, you've piqued my interest on that. Maybe we'll see if there's a sponsor that wants to join the broadcast. We can definitely do that. But the players are coming back on the ice. We're getting ready for the third period of play. The Oshawa Generals really stepped things up in that second. They had one goal taken back because of an offside call. It's for the Barrie Colts, 3 games in 3 nights. Fatigue starting to be a factor.
Yeah, obviously, it happens really every time with most teams. It's a tough run down the stretch of that final game in the 3-3, and so it'll be interesting to see what the Barrie Colts can do here in the third period. And obviously, they're going to be looking to try and shut this game down and not let many chances up, similar to how they did last night against the Brampton Steelheads. Yeah, they gave up 12 shots in the third period, but they were keeping them to the outside, not letting them get those big opportunities there in the third.
So the Barrie Colts and Oshawa Generals ready to get this third period underway. It's been an exciting matchup so far between these two rivals. The fans always getting on the case of Kayshawn Aitchison, which is no surprise. And also right now, noticing at the Oshawa Generals bench, Mario Pouliot having a conversation with linesman Hunter Gasper. I wonder if they're still talking about that disallowed goal with the offside call.
Well, I know they had a discussion at the end of the period as well, but pointing over, looks like over in the Barrie Colts end right now.
Well, he's specifically talking to the linesman. So the only thing I can think of is the offside call. And obviously that's now in the past because you can't just go back and say, okay, we'll restart the second period. We'll try it again.
Let's do it again
from the top. So Pouliot having a conversation with the two linesmen, but we are just about ready to go for the third period of play between the Colts and the Generals. Barrie right now up by 2 goals. It's a 3-1 hockey game. Ben Harabic may have had the save of the year in the second period. I've already seen it posted on social media on the Barrie Colts social media page, so you have to go check that out if you haven't seen that replay yet. For this third period now underway. Face-off won by the Generals. Moore sends this one ahead. Franzen got a stick on it. Loose puck collected by Hemming. That ends up back at the center line. Kayshawn Aitchison directing traffic as he backtracks into his own zone. Sending it across to Evan Passmore. Hemming got a stick on it. Bounced off of him. Aitchison dumping this one in. That's going to go around the boards. Lachon after it. Cole Baudouin trying to dig this one free. That's at the point. Batted down by Passmore. Generals move it to the near side. Moore up the wing. Franzen tips it into the zone, so no icing. Ends up behind the Barrie net. Kayshawn Aitchison there to play it ahead to Wilmot. Ben Wilmot deep in his own zone. Passes this one up to Passmore. Flips it to Baudouin. Baudouin, he's going to peel back. Colts wanting to make a line change here. Aitchison will take it back behind his own net. Hanser back to play it here for the Barrie Colts. He has 1 goal tonight. Hanser will move it up for Barrie. Over to Aitchison. Aitchison up the wing. Zabeski has it. Takes a hit there from Murnane. Rogowski can't get it out. Kept in by Zabeski. Comes back to the blue line, but Von Richter can't keep it in. Now we got a penalty call here. It's going to be for a hook, and that's going against Calvin Crombie. So the Oshawa Generals are going back on the power play.
Yeah, Crombie got the stick in there on Owen Griffin as they were exiting the zone, and Generals again getting a power play here.
So power play 3 of the night for the Oshawa Generals. They're already 0 for 2 on the man advantage. So we'll see what happens this time around. The faceoff will be brought to the right of Ben Harabic. Franzen's going to take the drop against Jaden Newton. It's a big faceoff here, won by the Colts. Von Richter will send this one around the boards and down the ice. This will force Oshawa back to regroup. Possumus will come back to collect it here for the Generals. Luke Possumus. He sends this one ahead. He had the goal disallowed in the second period. Griffin, he'll peel back to the point. Griffin moves it up to Moore. Moore along the boards, rolls to the net. Harabic's going to guide that to the corner. Von Richter can't get it out. Kept in by Griffin. Near side, that's Rogowski. Back to Franzen. That stopped by Harabic. Moore puts this one back behind the net. Justin Hanser chasing after it. Rogowski has it in his skates. Colts stick it free, and they're going to clear it down the ice. Power play for Oshawa down to a minute 15. Both teams will make changes as the Generals regroup. Owen Griffin, he'll skate this one out for Oshawa, drops this one back to Frolov. Artem Frolov through the neutral zone, carrying this one in, still with it, back to Bird Leitner. That now connected there with Griffin. Frolov at the point. Bird Leitner from the faceoff dot, sends it across. There's the shots. Karevic got a piece of it. Generals, though, still with the pressure. Bird Leitner into the corner he goes for Oshawa, still with it. Looks at the clock, 43 seconds remaining, and then Frolov loses it to Beaudoin, and Emil Hemming will skate it up, 2-on-1 shorthanded, over to Beaudoin, dives for it, trying to go through the 5-hole, Hemming scores, shorthanded! Beaudoin and Hemming go back and forth, nothing much Humphreys could do, and it's now 4-1.
Well, when Emil Hemming and Cole Beaudoin get attacking shorthanded, it kind of feels like you're at even strength. Beaudoin does a nice job. He blocks off Frolov at the point and then just able to push it across the ice to get it to Emil Hemming and create that chance back the other way. Hemming then gets into the zone, flips it across to Beaudoin, who rushes up ahead, gets to it. Humphreys makes the initial save, but then Hemming at a wide open net with Humphreys down and out.
Yeah, there was nothing Matthew Humphreys could do there. As they're showing the replay on the scoreboard, I wonder if they're trying to see if it was offside, but play continues. They drop the puck quickly. 25 seconds left in the power play here for Oshawa. Franzen has it in the corner. They'll give this one up to Possimus. Possimus will skate this one up. Into the attacking zone, drops it back to Griffin, nearly offside. Griffin down low to Moore. Moore back to Griffin at the line, near side Rogowski. Rogowski across, deflected. Moore gets it, back to Griffin. Griffin waits, back to Moore. One-timer is stopped by Harevic. Moore puts it behind the net. Crombie's out of the penalty box, so Oshawa now 0 for 3 on the power play. Possimus gets it behind the Barrie net. His pass deflected, still finds Moore. Moore sends it down low to Possimus. Possimus has it in the corner, trying to keep it away from Von Richter. Puck rolls to the net. Possimus still with it. Has it in the corner, back to Griffin. One-timer, that goes wide of the net. Moore loses it to Jaden Newton, and the Colts moving ahead. Here's Zabeski. Zabeski through the neutral zone, carries this one in for Barrie. Zabeski trying to protect that puck. He's taken to the boards by Franzen. Oshawa gets it back. Brooks Rogowski trying to keep it away from Crombie. Ends up sending it back behind his own net. Schneid on the forecheck. Couldn't get a stick on it as Vlasic will send it forward. Figlamani trying to get a step on Aitchison. Takes the shot, hits the side of the net. Keishon Aitchison gets it in the corner. He'll send this one forward. Knocked down by Bird Leitner. Colts get it again. Keishon Aitchison up to Salandra. Salandra on the wing. Waits, fires. That's deflected out of play. As we've now got 15:43 remaining in this hockey game.
Well, obviously that goal for Barrie, a killer for the Generals there. I mean, you get the power play opportunity to make it a one-goal game, and instead you give up a shorthanded goal, and now you're down by 3 here, and time obviously becomes a factor a bit quicker when you're down by 3 goals.
And right now, the Barrie Colts out shooting Oshawa 29-21. We're so used to seeing the Colts being heavily outshot, but these last few games, the Barrie Colts have done a much better job really limiting the offensive chances for the other teams.
33 against Guelph, and then 23 last night against Brampton.
Face-off won by the Colts. Back to the blue line. That's Emerton. He'll send it around. Low behind the net. That one gets by him. Eliasson comes off the point. Generals get it. They'll put it off the glass and out. Carter Lowe from his own blue line. Sends it across. He'll find Salandra. Salandra keeps that one in. Sends it to the near side. Picked up by Lowe. Drops it back to Salandra. Across. Finds Emerton. Waits. Fires. And that goes into the glove of Humphreys as he had William Schneid standing right in front. Now we've got Salandra and Bird Leitner going nose to nose, and looks like the official giving some warnings there to Joe Salandra.
Lowe, Salandra, and Schneid, they're still looking to get a goal. They put together the line on Friday, and they haven't been able to score yet this weekend, but they've been getting the chances. Salandra at the crossbar Friday night, and then again here tonight. Salandra, Lowe have had a couple really nice chances. Schneid had a deflection on net as well.
Face-off won by the Colts. Oshawa, though, they'll recover. They'll send it behind their own net. After the loose puck is Beaudoin. Back to Aitchison. Takes the shot. That's blocked. Aitchison keeps it in again. Cole Beaudoin finds Hemming down low. Wilmot Hemming. And that nearly connected. Calto, though, trips up Hemming. And that's going to be a penalty for a trip. As Wilmot nearly caught Hemming in the slot. It was a beautiful passing play. The end result's a penalty against Calto.
A nice play by Wilmot, sending it across. Hemming was right there, sneaking in out front, and Calto, it's probably all he could really do, trying to get his stick there. And if you take a penalty, you take a penalty.
This Barrie Colts Power Play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Face off to the right of Humphreys. Beaudoin will win this face off back to Emerton. Emerton across to Aitchison. One-timer. Beaudoin got a stick on it, but puts that one just wide. Hemming along the boards. We'll send this one around, and Aitchison can't keep it in. That's going to sail all the way back into the Barrie zone. 1:43 remaining in this power play for the Colts as Cole Emerton moves it up. Barrie already 1 for 1 on the man advantage. Emil Hemming skates this one in for the Colts. Gets through 4 sweaters. Puck rolled on him. Beaudoin trying to put it out in front. It's behind the Oshawa net. That's going to be sent to the near side. Emerton chasing after it. Can't keep it in. Emerton gets it at center ice. He'll skate this one in for the Colts, but Hemming couldn't get back in time. And that's going to be an offside call.
Well, Colts power play the first time around. First unit actually struggled a bit. Couldn't really create many opportunities. Then gave up a breakaway to Oni Calto. Second unit came out. Ben Wilmot got a goal. And first unit there wasn't able to get anything. And second unit comes out now. And maybe they'll get another one.
It's a face-off outside the Oshawa blue line. Griffin taking the draw against Ben Wilmot. One there by the Generals. They're going to clear it down the ice. 1:13 left to go in the penalty to Calto. Here's Parker Von Richter. He's going to drop it back to Calvin Crombie. Crombie through center. He'll skate this one in for Barrie. Crombie down in the corner. Forced to the outside. Takes the bump. Blassig's there. Crombie gets it back. Zabeski puts it up the middle. Von Richter has a lane. Shot stop. Rebound. Wilmot jams at it. And Humphreys able to cover it up as Parker Von Richter, still looking for his first as a Barrie Colt, had a great opportunity there.
Yeah, real nice look by Von Richter, and then nice job by Humphreys as well, as Colts players were coming down low, trying to knock it loose, but he was able to gather that before any of them could knock it free.
Power play now down to 50 seconds here for the Colts. Wilmot's going to take the draw up against Harrison Franzen. Face off won by Oshawa. Generals send this one around. Zabeski can't keep it in. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Hrebeck behind the net, leaves it for Von Richter. Parker Von Richter skates this one forward, drops it back to Crombie at the blue line. Crombie carrying this one in for the Colts. Goes to Zabeski, across to Gardner. Gardner down low, Wilmot from the corner, back to Von Richter. Von Richter leaves it to Wilmot, takes the shot, that's blocked in front. Feely after it, he's going to send this down the ice. Franzen gets behind the defense. Hrebeck's out of his net to play it. Long pass up to Gardner. Gardner will carry it in for the Colts, up to Zabeski. Towards the net is Crombie, but that's knocked off his tape by Frolov. And the Generals will get it out. As the power play will expire here. So Barrie now 1 for 2 on the man advantage tonight. As Desiderio, he is rocked at the blue line by Leo Lachamp. It was a big hit by the Oshawa defenseman. Jonah McCormick, he's going to dump this one in. Timmerman picks it up, passing this one over. Calto picks it up at center ice, ahead for Griffin. Griffin back to Calto. Calto takes the shot, kicked aside by Hrebeck. Newton trying to get to that rebound, puck sent to the near point. Here's Frolov. Frolov knocked over there by Desiderio. Colts will collect it. Jaden Newton trying to go up to McCormick. Desiderio follows it up. He's knocked off the puck. Generals get it out to center ice. Here's Eliasson. Settles it down. McCormick now sends that to the far corner. Frolov will be the first one on it for Oshawa. Drops this one back to Figlimanni. Figlimanni skates this one up for Oshawa on the wing. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Figlimanni out of the corner. Sends it back to the blue line. Blasig to Timmerman on the near side. Takes the shot. Deflected. There's a battle in front of the net between Aitchison and Cormier. The fans wanted a penalty. None coming. Timmerman will come back to play it for Oshawa as the Colts make a line change. Sang tips us into the Barrie zone. Hanser Comes up with it for the Colts. Up to Carter Lowe. Lowe sends this one into the zone. Schneid behind the Oshawa net takes the hit from Timmerman. Loose puck picked up by Salandra. Hands are at the point. Sends it across quickly to Von Richter. Carter Lowe trying to go back to Von Richter. Ends up behind the net. Von Richter with possession for the Colts. Backhand pass to Schneid. Schneid back to Lowe. Here's Hanser at the point. Passes it across to Von Richter. Can't take the shot. Will peel back over to Hanser. Justin Hanser, his shot blocked by Cormier. Hanser gets it again. Along the boards, they'll send it back to Carter Lowe. Takes the shots, and that goes over the net. Bird Leitner trying to get it out. That was blocked by Von Richter. At the blue line, kept in by Salandra. Hanser on the near point. Takes the shot, deflected. Lowe got a piece, but it goes wide. Puck at the blue line. Picked up here, Von Richter. Salandra winds up, takes the shot, stopped by Humphreys. Hanser can't get to it. Oshawa moves it out. Bird Leitner reaches center ice. Takes his time as his teammates are making a change. Now we'll dump it in. Back behind the net. That's Justin Hanser for the Colts. Puck rolled on him. He's trying to knock it off the top of the boards. Puck comes to the near side now. Franzen can't get to it in time. William Schneid chips that one up. Frolov knocks it down. Picked off there by Salandra. Joe Salandra carrying this one in, surrounded by red sweaters, and the Generals take it away. Franzen skates this one in for Oshawa on the wing. Hits the brakes. Franzen sends it across to Frolov. Frolov fans on the shot, taken away there by Hemming. Emil Hemming will skate this one up into the attacking zone, up to Beaudoin. Beaudoin, his shot stopped by Humphreys. Moore had it there for a moment. Hemming took it away. Beaudoin now up to Wilmot, up to Hemming. His shot stopped by Humphreys. Puck still loose. It's bouncing in the blue paint. Back to Aitchison at the point. Humphreys doesn't have his stick. Aitchison over to Passmore. Back to Aitchison. Here's Hemming. He loses it, but able to find Wilmot in front. Beaudoin shot. What a save by Humphreys. His stick is in the net. Beaudoin now loses his twig. Generals will get it out. Puck's back up in the neutral zone. Picked up here by Evan Passmore. Passmore's just going to come back. 9.5 minutes remaining in this third period. 4-1 Barrie. Aitchison fires this one deep. Vlasic there to play it. They'll send it back to Lachon. Lachon into the corner, facing pressure from Beaudoin. Lachon trying to play it here as Beaudoin continues to put on pressure. Zabeski throwing his weight around. Picked up by Griffin. Griffin gets it out. Emerton, though, takes away that pass. Sends it back into the Oshawa zone, delayed offside. Here's Possimus. Possimus can't handle that pass. Eliasson will send it across to Cole Emerton. Emerton up ahead. Zabeski had to go off of him, so no icing. Crombie will be the first one on, but Humphreys comes out of his net. I don't think he realized Crombie was coming on him, but the Generals are able to get it out. Griffin sends this one deep. Eliasson back to play it for the Colts. Chips it off the boards. Griffin here is in front for Oshawa. Stopped by Herrick. Rebound. Feely can't get a stick on it. Oshawa moving it back to the point, but it's taken away by Crombie. Calvin Crombie skates this one in. That one goes off Murnane. Taken there by Gardner. Gardner in front. Here's Zabeski shot. What a save by Humphreys. He flashes the leather and denies Mason Zabeski.
Well, what a show the goaltenders have put on today. Horebic, a couple nice saves down low there on Feely, and then Colts come back the other way. Zabeski open. Nice shot there. And since we last talked about the shots, the Barrie Colts have kind of taken control of this game now, 37-25 in favor of Barrie.
Well, the Barrie Colts right now dominating the possession time deep in the Oshawa zone as they just get that cycle going and they don't stop moving. That's the main thing.
They keep up the pressure and it's all four lines rolling through them. They've done a great job. And, you know, guys like Jade Newton, Jonah McCormick, Nicholas Desiderio, when those guys are controlling play in the offensive zone, that's really good for the Barrie Colts.
So this faceoff is going to be brought back into the Oshawa zone with 8:21 remaining in the hockey game. The Barrie Colts up by 3. And we'll get this faceoff to the left of Humphreys. Jaden Newton set to take the draw up against Porter Bird Leitner. Linesman giving some instructions here. Newton, he'll be tossed out, so in steps Jonah McCormick. McCormick against Bird Leitner in the faceoff dot. That's won by the Generals. Vlasic will skate this one back behind his own net. Vlasic sends this one ahead. Generals get it out. Sang trying to settle it down. Figlemeni chases after it here for Oshawa. Figlemeni puts that off the end boards. Vlasic after it now for the Generals. He'll send it around. Hands are knocked down behind his own net. Figlemeni trying to dig it free. Beyond Richter in front to McCormick. Joan McCormick reaches center ice. He'll send this one deep. Desiderio trying to get a stick on it. Puck's just sitting there. Generals moving out. Picked up by Bird Leitner. He'll dump this one in. Takes a hard hit from Eliasson. Sang trying to get to it. Bumps Newton off the puck. And then McCormick takes the hit from Figlemeni. He's just trying to drive it along the boards. Eliasson now on the near side. Desiderio, he blows a tire. Eliasson will just dump it right on goal. Humphreys gets the glove on it. Decides to play it. Picked up here by Leo Lachaume. Drops it back to Moore. At center. Puck taken away by Carter Lowe. Cormier trying to get to it. He's taken in the boards by Lowe. Loose puck. Salandra can't get to it in time. He runs over Lachaume. Schneid sends this one deep. Schneid can't hold on to it. Possumus skates it out here for Oshawa on the wing. Luke Possumus trying to go to the net. Stopped by Horebic. Puck's behind the net. Picked up by Cormier. Cormier gets it in the corner. Back to the point. Murnane shot. That's blocked. Ends up going behind the Barrie Colts net. Emerton digs this one free. Cole Emerton still with it. He'll skate this one out himself. Gives that to Lowe. Lowe sends that one towards the net. Puck was bouncing, and Humphreys not taking any risks. He'll hold on to it with 6:41 remaining.
Well, Barrie doing a good job again, keeping Generals to the outside here in the third period. And pretty physical. Eliasson laying a big hit there, and Salandra going after LaShawn in the open ice. Sean's a bit bigger than him, but he's able to still get up there and lay the hit.
And not afraid to mix it up, that's for sure. And that's the style of play that the Barrie Colts want. They want to play that physical style. They want to be that team that you don't want to play against. We've heard that from Dylan Smoskowitz. Right now, they're enjoying that 3-goal lead. Generals win the faceoff in their own zone. Bodwin blocks the pass attempt. Fine, takes that away now for Oshawa. He'll send that one deep. Aitchison back to play it now for the Colts. Up to Emil Hemming. Hemming gives it to Bodwin. Bodwin through center ice. Out of his reach. Aitchison collects it. Aitchison trying to go to the net. Taken away there by Franzen. Franzen trying to keep it away from Hemming. Backhand pass. That's taken away by the Colts. Emil Hemming has it. Back to the line. It's Passmore. Up to Hemming. Hemming from the corner. Back to the point. Aitchison. Keyshawn Aitchison. Over to Passmore. Back to Aitchison on the near wing. Down low to Hemming. Hemming trying to keep it away from Moore. Goes back to Bodwin. Takes the shot. That's going to go wide of the net. Wilmot, after that loose puck, sends it back to the blue line for Aitchison. Towards the net. Knocked down by Calto. Oni Calto. He's able to skate this one out for the Generals. He's going to dump it in. Peels off for a change. 5:40 now left to go in the hockey game. Justin Hanser. He'll pick it up from behind his own net. Up ahead to Von Richter. Von Richter's pass trying to get to Gardner. He'll collect it. Brad Gardner back to the line. Sets it across for Zabeski. Zabeski with a shot. Humphreys gets the blocker on it. Puck comes around. Hanser off the point. Keeps it down low. That pass goes off of Hanser. Griffin will skate it out for Oshawa. Possumus, though, had his pocket picked by Zabeski. It's laid offside, and then a couple of Colts throwing hits. That came at the whistle. This is going to rile up the Oshawa Generals, as it was Zabeski who threw one of the hits, and the other was Calvin Crombie. Not really surprised seeing those two throwing their weight around.
They're kind of right at the same time as well, right at the whistle there. A couple big hits by Zabeski and Crombie, and then obviously out comes the crowd, and cooler heads now prevailed. Doesn't look like any penalties coming out of it.
Yeah, 5:09 left to go in the hockey game, as the Barrie Colts happy to play the keep-away game at this point, as they've really limited Oshawa's chances. In the second period, it was a lot of end-to-end action, and that seemed to really get the Oshawa Generals going. And now that we haven't seen that end-to-end, Oshawa now having a harder time getting anything going in the offensive end.
Yeah, kind of similar to the game on Friday, where it felt like that second period was really wild. And then I'm sure Dylan Smoskowitz, like he did on Friday night, went into the room and just reminded them, like, we don't want to play that game. We want to shut things down, not let up. that many chances going back the other way. And again, the Barrie Colts, similar to the third period on Friday, have committed to that defensive play here in the third period and have really shut the Generals down.
So the faceoff's going to come outside the Barrie Colts blue line as they get sent for the draw. Brad Gardner is going to take the faceoff here for the Colts up against Brooks Rogowski. Faceoff won by the Generals. Bernane over to Timmerman. Sends it on goal. Hrebeck the save. Von Richter comes up the rebound. Hanser has that one in his skates. Goes ahead for Zabeski. Gardner trying to dig this one free. The Generals can't keep that one in at the point. Timmerman sends it across to Murnane. Back into the Barrie zone. It's Parker Von Richter over to Justin Hanser. Up ahead is Zabeski. Zabeski enters the zone. Sends that one ahead. It went off a leg. That went off the helmet of Humphreys as Gardner made contact with it. Now the Generals come back the other way. It's Griffin. Gets around Emerton. Owen Griffin behind the net. Eliasson gets a stick on it. Griffin again. He's forced into the boards there by Eliasson. As that puck will go to the far side. Picked up here by Calvin Crombie. Loses it in his skates. Facing some pressure there from Rogowski. Rogowski's got a lane. He's got Figlomani with him, but he takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Puck's behind the net, picked up here by Calvin Crombie. He's just going to send it down the ice. Vlasic trying to settle it down, being chased by Desiderio. Up ahead to Rogowski, and that's going to be tipped deep into the Barrie zone. 4 minutes remaining in this third period. The Colts up 4-1. Emerton shots deflected. Sang will collect it in the neutral zone. Dumps that one back into the Barrie end. Emerton behind the net. Up ahead to Desiderio. Here's Jonah McCormick. Reaches center. He'll dump this one in, far side. Vlasic will be the first one on it for Oshawa. Gets the line, not out. Here's Jaden Newton. Newton puts it over to McCormick. McCormick backhand over to Newton. That's taken away by Feely. Generals get it out. At center, Bird Leitner. He'll skate this one ahead. Figlomani takes the shot. Hrebeck gets the blocker on it. Feely keeps it down low. Von Richter has it in his skates. He'll chase after it. Parker Von Richter reaching center. He'll skate this one into the zone. Everyone's making a line change behind him, so he'll peel back as he lets that go behind the Oshawa net. Generals move it up. Here's Cormier. Gets by Salandra. Cormier, backhand. That's going to miss the net. Murnane keeps it at the point. Cormier. Battle along the boards. Smirnov collides into Hanser. Battle ensues. Smirnov still along the boards. Down to 2:45 left to go. Puck's loose. Schneid just trying to hold it along the boards, taking more time off the clock. Now the puck will come free. Carter Lowe up ahead to Salandra. Joe Salandra at center ice. He'll dump this one in. Timmerman, first one on it, sends this one around the boards. Passmore, no, they're going to say that escaped. So that's going to be an offside call now against the Barrie Colts.
I just saw Liam in the chat asking about Teague Vaders. Hadn't heard anything about him recently, wondering what happened to him. And so right now, obviously, with the trade for Parker Von Richter, the Barrie Colts, they do have 8 defensemen on the roster, including Ethan Armstrong and Teague Vaders. So right now, with no practice time this weekend for the Colts and with them playing good hockey in all these games, there just hasn't been really room for any substitutions this weekend at all. But talking to Dylan Smoskowitz yesterday, he said he trusts all 8 guys. So I can definitely say that Vader and Armstrong are going to get some more chances down the stretch.
Yeah, it's just that depth right now that the Barrie Colts have. As the defense is pretty solid right now for this Barrie Colts team. As Bird Leitner trying to get it there. Feely, backhand towards the net. Hrebeck, he'll just put his mitt over top of it. And we'll get a face-off with 2:02 remaining.
No, and obviously some coaches are superstitious. You don't change anything after a win, and then once you lose, you switch things up. I don't know if Dylan Smoskowitz thinks like that, but sometimes maybe it's not till the next Barrie Colts loss, and then maybe Vader comes in for a guy. But there's a lot. Obviously, like we mentioned, there's 8 guys, so it's tough to get everyone in, and especially with the way the Barrie Colts defenders have played. Passmore with a goal today, Hanser with a goal today, Emerton with a goal on Friday as well. So,
well, it's looking at that top 6, and it's hard to pick. Okay, if you want Vader in the lineup,
yeah, exactly.
Take out Eliasson.
Who comes out?
Yeah, do you take out Emerton because they're the third pair? So some tough decisions to be made here for Dylan Smoskowitz, but I think he's happy with these tough decisions. As Postmus has it in the high slot, he'll go to the far side with it, giving it up to Griffin. Griffin comes back to the point, gives it up to Murnane. That'll be sent behind the Barrie net. Postmus tied up by Passmore. Those two continue to battle. Griffin will send it back to the line. Here's Timmerman. Timmerman takes the shot on goal. Stopped there by Harevik. Loose puck. Rogowski shot blocked by Eliasson. Griffin gets it again at the point here for Oshawa. Timmerman passes it across. Rogowski fans on the one-timer. Eliasson behind the net. Goes over to Carter Lowe. Lowe trying to protect that puck. He'll get it to the point. That's kept in by Timmerman. Griffin over to Murnane. Murnane takes the shot. That one went off Eliasson, so that stays out. Ends up in the corner. Colts moving out. Timmerman gets it at his own blue line. Ahead for Postmus. Postmus off the boards. Waits. Fires. Puts that one over the net. Sang can't keep that one on the far side, but he gets it back from Vlasic. And now we're going to get a penalty as we've got too many men on the ice. There are 6 Colts out there. So it's against the Barrie Colts, but now we're getting some pushing and shoving. The Generals going after Gabriel Eliasson. So we're in the final minute of the third period, and the Oshawa Generals, they're going to go on the power play.
One final look here for the Generals power play, and yet to score tonight. They had a couple good chances on it, but Anderton has served it.
So this will be the 4th power play of the hockey game for the Oshawa Generals. They're already 0 for 3 tonight. So the faceoff will come to the right of Ben Harevik. The Colts already have one shorthanded goal tonight. That was from Emil Hemming. So we'll see what's in store here. Looks like the timekeeper is calling over the officials. So if they were just looking at the clock. So we got 59.2 seconds left to go in this hockey game. Face off to the left of Harevik. Won by the Generals. Postmus has it at the point for Oshawa. Sends it across to Rogowski. The puck rolled on him. Moore near side. That pass picked off by Jaden Newton. Newton's going to skate this one out. Takes his time. Sends it towards the net. Puck goes to the corner. Picked up by Moore. Down to 41 seconds. Postmus will skate this one up for Oshawa. Reaches center ice. Sends that one across. Picked up here by Moore. Moore sends this one back. Getting a stick on it was Hanser. He'll put it back into the Oshawa zone. As the Colts just shutting things down right now in the neutral zone. Wanting that clock to run out. 22 seconds left in the game. Moore inside the line towards the net. Hanser takes that one away. And he's just going to hammer this one down the ice. Actually goes off the linesman. That was Gasper who took that one. He's shaking up the hit. Humphreys falls down. He's able to make the save as Schneid got it in the corner and nearly got a great shorthanded chance with 6.8 seconds left.
Yeah, a weird play there. First it hits the official, and that allows Schneid to break in all alone. Then Humphreys makes the save but falls down and tries to get back to his feet, stumbles again. Then Schneid, he looked like he just wanted to kill the clock, but then when he saw Humphreys go down, thought he had a chance at a goal.
Why not? You're already down there. But what a solid road game here tonight by the Barrie Colts. Oshawa wins the draw. They get it to center ice. Smirnov sends it towards the net. Harevik guides it to the corner, and that will do it. It's a 4-1 final. The Barrie Colts come back into Oshawa and win this one on the road, extending their point streak to 7 games.
Well, another good effort tonight from the Barrie Colts. It's a perfect 6 points this weekend. And now, obviously, I mean, you look at where these teams sit in the standings, Guelph, Brampton, and Oshawa. They're near the bottom. Obviously, those are games you got to win if you're a Barrie Colts team. And so, obviously, it's not a weekend that you can look at and you take away from it and say, well, the Barrie Colts, they're the best team in the league now. But you can, there's still something to say about having a 6-for-6 weekend.
Yeah, and for the Barrie Colts, too, because we saw both Brantford and Ottawa won earlier today. So with Barrie winning here, they remain 5 points out of first in the Eastern Conference standing. So the Barrie Colts, this string of points is keeping them in contention for top spot in the Central, or top spot in the Eastern Conference. So This is a Colts team. After that trade deadline, they're showing that they mean business.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They're laying a lot of hits. They've been scoring a lot of goals, and they've been keeping the puck out in the net as well. It's a really good weekend for the Colts overall, and it's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks. You got Flint this week, Owen Sound as well. They've struggled as of late, but they're still a pretty good team that's beaten the Barrie Colts already 3 times this season. And then after that, the next week, you got a big divisional matchup with Niagara, and then the Brantford Bulldogs once again.
Yeah, so that's a big test coming up. But let's get to our 3 stars. I know Tammy said in the comments she's not predicting them tonight. But your 3 stars presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. Now, your 3rd star of the game, Matthew Humphreys, the goaltender for the Oshawa Generals, 37 saves. He made some outstanding ones in this hockey game. Your 2nd star, Emil Hemming. He had a goal and an assist. And your 1st star, Cole Bodwin, with 2 assists. Really can't go wrong with those 3 stars.
No, definitely. I'm sure there's going to be some comments complaining that Ben Arebic wasn't a star. And, but credit to Matthew Humphreys as well. I thought both goalies had a great game tonight. And Humphreys, again, he looks really good, but another loss on the record for him, unfortunately. Now, 0-7 this season with a save percentage at .930. I mean, that's honestly hard to do. Like, to have that good of a save percentage and not luck into a win at some point there, obviously disappointing for Oshawa as well. Overall, 12-game losing streak here right now, and it's only a matter of time. They keep playing hard, they keep working at it. They're going to get a couple wins, and they're going to get rewarded here down the stretch. But of course, Bodwin and Hemming, the top 2 stars, and 2 guys that led the way again tonight for the Barrie Colts. Hemming had a great game. I thought he could have had a hat trick tonight with some of the chances he had, but he only comes away with the 1 goal.
And also, too, think of Wilmot now. Goals in all 3 games since the trade from the London Knights. So he's been fitting in quite well. We saw Zabeski and Von Richter continuing that physical play. And this Barrie Colts team really showing what they're capable of in this 3-3. But the big test comes Thursday night. They're going to host the Flint Firebirds. Kevin He, Jacob Battaglia, the big additions at the OHL trade deadline. So for the Barrie Colts, a good measuring stick before taking on who's on Saturday again? Oshawa. We're here in Oshawa. How would I forget that? So big test Thursday. That game's going to be huge, and you can watch that game on Rogers TV if you're not at the Sadlin Arena on Thursday. Our next road broadcast will be next Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. start at the Bayshore. It's always fun going to Owen Sound. I know Mike Farwell posting about the French fries. Maybe we need. Well, you tried the French fries already,
but we could.
You need to do a video about it.
We'll do a video. How about we make a video next weekend? We'll go and then we'll set up and we'll do our interviews, and then maybe second intermission we can play a video of us trying the French fries.
So we'll see what we can do for our next road broadcast next Sunday. 1:45 will be the start of the live stream here on the channel. So if you haven't clicked subscribe already, make sure you click subscribe so you're notified when that broadcast gets underway. So for Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long from the Tributes Community Center in Oshawa, where it's the Barrie Colts with the 4-1 victory over the Oshawa Generals.